Semiconductor Manufacturing says quarterly profits rose almost 80% over a year earlier, hitting $8.8 billion.
The biggest contract manufacturer of processor chips for smartphones and other products says sales rose 48% over a year ago to $19.2 billion. TSMC makes processor chips for brands including Apple and Qualcomm. Chip makers are benefiting from demand for next-generation telecoms, high-performance computing, and chips for use in products from cars to medical devices.
Correspondent Jeremy Houch. Tropical storm Carl turned to the south today, heading for Mexico's Gulf Coast. Though forecasters say it's unlikely to reach hurricane force. The storm had been heading slowly to the north before weather conditions stopped it and then turned it around. Expected to weaken somewhat before hitting the coasts of Veracruz and Tabasco states by late tomorrow or early Saturday. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com. An aborted execution in Alabama.
An inmate said prison staff poked him with needles for over an hour as they tried to find a vein during an aborted lethal injection last month. Attorneys for Alan Eugene Miller wrote in a court filing that Miller endured physical and mental torture during Alabama's attempt to execute him on September 22nd. They said in a court filing that at one point Miller was left vertically suspended on the gurney. The state called off the execution shortly before midnight after difficulties obtaining vein access. Miller's attorneys filed a court to stop Alabama from attempting a second lethal injection. John Scott reporting.
China's government accusing Washington of what it calls Cold War thinking and is appealing for efforts to repair strained relations after President Biden released a national security strategy. It calls for outcompeting China and blocking its attempts to reshape global affairs. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Hello, Michael.
Hello. He's happy because I just told him Blink-182 is going on tour.
I knew that
year.
coming in this morning, but that's awesome, man. I'm not gonna lie, I am a humongous Blink-182 fan. I mean, just you can tell that by looking at me. I fit the bill of an average Blink fan. But
well, I was kind of looking at the little poster online for the tour dates, and I think Denver or Dallas is about the closest they're coming here.
Yeah, they're not going to be nearby, but I'll make a trip if I have to.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing any.
I have a reason to get up to Denver. My buddy Brian lives up there, and he wants to show off his new house. So I've got a reason to get up there. So now it's the Blink concert. I got a place to stay. So there's that. But it's definitely a trip. The thing is, I like Blink-182 from a very specific time frame. So
is there more than one
like,
time frame of Blink-182?
Oh, very, very much so. Very much so.
I know one time frame.
I'm sorry, it's over, which I love. That was always my era. But then there's like later Blink-182 when they started like maturing. After their like self-titled album, that one like right in the middle, that was a good album. I love that album. The one with Feeling This and I Miss You and all those on there. That was a good album.
See, I'm like, what's my name again? And that's about
what's my age again?
Yeah.
And then the back.
That's my extent of
don't step into this realm if you're not going to come correct.
I saw him in concert.
The back half, nice. I never did. Oh no, I actually that's
they headlined a Warped Tour.
That's a lie. I saw him at Warped Tour. Mm-hmm. I did. I saw him at Warped Tour the year I took Roxy and the Girl. I went with Roxy and the Girls. The back half of the self-titled Blink album, by the way, nice cup.
Thank you.
The back half of that album is the moment that band started getting weird.
Yeah.
That's when like. I want to say like Arch Drive Goodbye, but I could be wrong on that. But like that second half of that self-titled album is when it started getting weird, and it just kind of progressed from there.
Yeah,
that was before Travis Barker nearly died in his plane crash fire thing.
Yeah,
that was before Tom DeLonge. Tom DeLonge got known for or was made famous for ufology.
Yeah,
so
I wonder what they've been doing lately.
Ufology, and Tom DeLonge is doing what's her name? One of the Kardashians, right?
Yeah. Didn't one of them start a
married.
tattoo parlor or something?
Probably. I mean, look at Travis Barker. He's a tattoo canvas.
Yeah, I thought like one of them started like a Vegas.
Well, okay, so Travis Barker's a drummer, so he just drums on everybody's different album. Like you'll always see featuring Travis Barker.
I feel like in the early 2000s, I remember seeing like a reality show or something where one of the Blink-182 guys was trying to start like a tattoo parlor in Vegas or something. I don't. It's just spats.
Well, it's Tom DeLonge, Mark Hoppus, and Travis Barker.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was or whatever. Maybe it was a different band from the same
I'm just
era.
the second realizing I knew every single one of their, like all three of their names. I did not know that. There's certain things you don't know that you know.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, really?
Yeah, the year I saw them and Suicidal Tendencies was the headliner.
Good lineup
for they also had an unknown Eminem.
Oh, really?
Like before he blew up, he was there at Warped Tour.
Wow.
Ice-T was there.
Good Lord, that's a killer lineup. And that's obviously on like the Monster Energy stage,
well,
right?
I'll say and they were like at like noon. They weren't on it like in later when the bigger acts.
That was the coolest part about Warped is there was like towards the back of the concert where the $4 waters were.
Yeah.
That's where you'd find the rap stage.
Yeah.
And that's where like all of the up and comers, were
yeah, I remember seeing all kinds of bands that were sort of, and then they kind of got big a little bit there and then disappear. Bands like, and of course all those ska bands like Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and Less Than Jake and those groups. Again,
I've talked about this before, but I didn't grow up on regular ska.
Yeah.
Like when I found out what regular ska was, I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense because they're drinking, having a good time. I grew up on Christian ska. Which is a whole other ball game, my friend.
Yeah, I imagine.
The OC Supertones, 5 Iron Frenzy, basically like a message with a trombone in the background. It was,
all those band
fun.
kids that hope to be aspirations of being in a Christian ska band afterwards.
Yeah,
all them trombone players.
Well, that kid Mike I was telling you about, the cool one for my youth group. He very much fits in that bill of like somebody who would have been in a ska band back in the day, and now he's like. Just doodle bopping around.
I know there's a lot of people that like ska and all that's never been my thing. I don't get it.
I don't currently like ska.
Yeah.
I just did like ska.
Wasn't a fan back then, still not today. And even when they start playing ska music and you get these reminiscent people, I'm like,
they're all sucker punching me, standing like.
It's just not my thing.
You remember WrestleMania 2015? Travis Barker was doing that.
I don't watch WWE. I don't know.
That was WWE.
Yeah, I don't watch WWE. I watch the other guys, the AEW.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, that was when
I don't frequent those, but I
that was when Skylar Grey was brand new and Kid Ink and Travis Barker featuring Travis Barker.
Right, but yeah, Travis was all over the place. Like he drummed for a lot of different rap artists and bands.
Those celebrity side projects.
I think he was in Guitar Hero. Too.
Was he really?
Well, you made it if you're in Guitar Hero.
That's right.
Like him and Haley Williams, actually, their models were in Guitar Hero.
Dude, Guitar Hero turned a whole new generation onto Dragon Force. You want to talk about some killer, a killer riff.
That sentence made absolutely zero sense to me. Turned a whole generation to Dragon Force. I have no idea what any of that is.
Look it up. Look it up, dude. You need to. As a fan as I know you are of speed metal, you need to have some Dragon Force in your life.
I can't get up to look up something called Dragon Force as a grown individual.
Fair enough. I'll do it for you. You give us the rundown, my friend.
All right, we got a couple of interviews we're going to replay. This hour, we're going to replay our interview we had with Superintendent of the Roswell Independent School District, Brian Luck. I had a great conversation with him yesterday, talking about the last school board meeting and things happening around the district, so I'll play that for you here in a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to replay our interview we had with Margaret Kinnard from the Chaffetz County Federated Republican Women. They wanted to invite you out to their next meeting, which will be next Wednesday out at the Convention Center. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society will join us, give us a rundown of pets looking for homes right now. We are in the Halloween month, so I'm guessing no black or white cats available for adoption right now. So we'll talk about that and thrift store and all that good stuff. So
Indeed.
That's what we got going on. All right, tell me about Dragon Force.
I'm not going to tell you. You're going to experience it. It's basically speed metal for D&D fans.
The keyboard's weird.
It's a harpsichord, I think.
Still weird.
You gotta admit, it's not bad, right?
I don't know. I'm not digging it.
Let me copy that. Yeah, hold on.
In the morning, in the time before the night.
Sounds like Meatloaf on cocaine.
Kinda. And Meatloaf already looked like he was on cocaine, so that's saying something.
I guess. It's not my cup of tea.
I love it. I love it so much. That's like
It's not bad. It's just not my
anybody
thing.
who was in band in high school loved Dragon Force. Like loved Dragon Force.
So am I supposed to like do karate
let me
now?
specifically say love that song by Dragon Force. That's
Okay.
the only song I know by them, but I love that song.
I feel like I want to do karate in the basement.
Yes.
All right, it is 7:15. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks pretty good for the next couple of days. Comfortable daytime highs, and then we have cold front that'll be arriving Saturday night and Sunday with some showers. Sunshine today, though. Our high in the upper 70s. Overnight looks clear, down to 50, and then we're in the low 80s for the afternoon high on Friday with sunshine. A few clouds on Saturday and mid-80s, and then rain on Sunday, mid-60s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, the more I hear that song, that sums it up perfectly. After hearing that song, I want to do karate in the basement now. Currently 51 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 86%. Winds currently out of the north at 9 miles per hour. Sunny today, high of 77. Winds will be out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 50. Winds will be out of the southeast at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, sunny, 83 for a high tomorrow. Winds will be out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 55 degrees. South winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then for the weekend on Saturday, partly cloudy, high of 84. Northwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. For your Saturday night, we actually have, and really Saturday night and then for the next couple days, good shots at rain. Saturday night, we're looking at a 40% chance of showers. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 58. An 80% chance of showers on Sunday, high of 62. For Sunday night, we are looking at an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms, overnight low of 52. Monday, we're looking at an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high of 55. And then an 80% chance of rain Monday night as well with an overnight low of 49. 40% chance of rain on Tuesday with a high of around 60. So, yeah, beginning Saturday night, pretty good shot at rain there for a couple days. All right, 7:17, we're going to take a 3.5-minute break. And then on the other side, our interview we had with Superintendent Brian Luck from the Roswell Independent School District. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
I'm Michelle Garcia Holmes, and I'm running for United States Congress. As a former policewoman, I put on my Kevlar vest, uniform, gun belt, grabbed my 12-gauge shotgun, jumped into my police car, and hit the city streets to keep you safe. I want to do the same for you in Washington. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th because our families deserve safe cities, a secure border, and lower gas prices.
Donate today at GarciaHolmesForCongress.com. Paid for by Michelle Garcia Holmes for Congress.
Fergie's Plumbing and Heating now has financing available through One Main Financial. Let Fergie's keep your house warm all winter long. Call 622-2260 today. And when you get a new HVAC unit from Fergie's, you get a $50 Cattle Baron gift card on them. Fergie's Plumbing and Heating, 622-2260.
This is Mikey, General Manager at Roswell Nissan. Are you haunted by high payments or afraid you'll be stuck in your old car forever? This is your chance to escape. It's Halloween madness at Roswell Nissan. No tricks, just a lot of treats. Like rates as low as 2.25% for 36 months or 3.99 for 75 months. No payments for 90 days on approved credit. And if you do have creepy credit, Roswell Nissan has credit specialists on hand to help you get your deal done. Halloween madness all October long at Roswell Nissan.
October is National Cooperative Month, and when Central Valley Electric Cooperative celebrates Co-op Month, we are really celebrating you. After all, CVE wouldn't exist without you, our members. Stop by our office in Artesia Friday, October 28th for Coffee with Your Co-op. Come grab a cup of coffee and something sweet and help us celebrate you. Come and go between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. and again from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's National Cooperative Month, and CVE wants to celebrate you, our members.
You've probably heard the story of the prodigal son before. A younger son asks for his inheritance before his father dies. He takes it, runs off to another land, parties it away, and then's got to get a job feeding pigs. The older son is the good son. Stays home, works for his father. The younger son decides to go home and ask for the mercy of his father, intending to ask to be a servant. The father watches for the lost son to come home. When he sees him, he runs out to meet him and throws a party for him, welcoming him home as a son, not as a servant. The older son gets upset at the father's forgiveness of the younger son. The father tells the older son it was fitting to celebrate and be glad, for this brother was dead and is now alive. He was lost and is found. Like the father in the story, God wants to forgive the child who's lost. What's interesting is that both sons were lost. The older one just didn't realize it. Whichever son you are or have been, God loves you and wants to welcome you home.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
The octopus and the squid both have 3 hearts. That's why they eat so many Tums. Here's Mike Winters. Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Brian Luck, Superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing good. How's life in the district this morning?
Life in the fast lane right now.
Keeping busy.
You bet. We're up and running. Lots going on. Got 9 weeks out of the way. Got a big 40-day count today. So looking forward to seeing what our numbers look like. And we've got lots going on. Multiple activities, multiple events. Just finished up the fair.
Yeah.
Transitioning from late summer, early fall activities right on into your holidays. So we got lots going on.
Sports starting to get a little heavy in the fall sports here with not just football, but the soccer and all the fall sports are starting to get into district play and playoff start talking here. So it's a busy time for students, and then of course, with the holidays, their midterms, all that kind of stuff. They're it's a busy study time too,
it is.
For them.
So. It is. Oh, that
other part of school, learning things and stuff. But
yes, sir.
But yeah, what it sounds like, what I feel like, and we're finally back to a place where, and I don't mean to jinx everything, but the word COVID is not really in every conversation anymore. It's more about school stuff, normal, X's and O's of education. Not how do we do this in a COVID world. It's just how do we do it now.
Well, you've moved to a point where you can stop saying COVID, or you have to say, well, because of this or because of that. It's just, this is where we're at, and it's time to start going. And I don't know that we've ever really stopped going, as much as it was you had to always have that in the back of your head.
Sure. But there's a lot less limitations now.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
I hope we've turned that corner. I really do. I think for our town, as that goes with it. I mean, I really hope that we can put at least some of it, put it in the past.
Sure.
Learn from what happened, but let's put that in the past.
And this is something. And again, I'm going to say this: if I'm out of place, please inject that. But we are now in a place as a community where we've got to play catch up and recovery, because now that we're at a point where we don't have to focus as much on, we got to separate everybody and everything's remote or whatever. But there was a lot of things that did not get done in the last 3 years. And this gap of kids that served, and especially and it's true at every grade level, but especially at those early developmental grades, your pre-K, K, first, second, third grade, those ones where they're really getting that routine and that establishment of life as a student and what their job as a student is. We as a community need to come together and rally to make that happen, which in my opinion means parents need to step up and be more active and role in the raising and educating and making sure where if they're having issues in school, that you are a partner with your teachers and with the staff to try to, instead of being adversarial and trying to say, well, why didn't this happen? Sitting there and say, all right, this is what's wrong. How do the people in this room fix it? And we've got to get into that mindset, because if we don't, we're going to be doing more disservice to these children.
When you look at what happened, and again, we were talking just off mic a second ago that, a 3-year process for this thing to start and to get us to where we are right now. Now, you give or take year 4, something like that.
Yeah.
If you think of your schooling, there's not a 3-year block that you don't have some type of a major maturation process.
Sure.
Whether that be physically or mentally or anything like that.
All years of your schooling are monumental or benchmark years for these kids.
Well, and like our seniors this year, when we take a look at them, they were freshmen when this thing ended. Our third graders this year were kindergartners. The one that got me was our bring it on back. Our first graders were like, in the 3Y program, if they were even in anything at all like that. And if you think about, even just as an adult, how different your life has been over the past 3 years, we'll take that to like your schooling.
Sure.
And if we had dropped a 3-year block like that anywhere in there. So, absolutely, it is one of those deals, and it's something that each individual family will have to deal with when it comes to their kiddos. You know your kids. You have a decent idea if they are on track or off track. And no, as always, it's usually best to support first.
Sure.
And then, down the road, if things persist and there might be something to whatever it is that you're thinking of me, but I'm going to always advocate that we try to support it
Absolutely.
first. And for the most part, I would say probably, 80% of what we deal with is that. The majority of our families have really dug in. A lot of them got to participate in the education process.
Sure.
And we've had several parents come back and say, "Oh my gosh, I know what you go through now, and I can't imagine 25 of this."
Wear their shoes for a little bit. Yeah,
I had 2 of them at my kitchen table, and they were mine, and I can't imagine this. So, and again, it's moving,
because we all, and that's the thing. We all must remember, and I think this sometimes we forget that. we're all on the same side. We're all wanting to make sure that every single child that goes through the doors of a school in the Roswell Independent School District comes out with a great education and a great opportunity to take whatever they've learned and go wherever they want to go with it and succeed. That's what we all want for these folks. And the people that you're working with, the people that are teaching your kids, the teachers that spend as much, if not more, time with their kids as you do, they need our help just as much. And we all need to be in concert, working together. Those teachers bust their hump wanting to, and I'm being a little defensive because my wife's a teacher and I see what she does every day. And so I do come from that place. I'm well aware of that. I've got a little bias, but if we all have to be on that page of how do we do it together, and I guarantee if you come there trying to work it out as opposed to let's make heads roll, you might find out that you're going to get a lot more done and see a lot more rather than you coming in ready to why is this not happening? Why is this like, all right, first off, what your perspective and what the perspective aren't always the same. And we need to, and that's the stuff I know I'm getting in the weeds here, but my point is work together. The people in the classrooms, the people in the schools want the best for your kids. Work with them to help and talk to them and have good discussions. I understand we get in a world sometimes where everyone wants to blame someone for this or why didn't this happen, and we ain't got time for that. Yeah. What do we got? This is what we've got to deal with. We've got kids that need our attention, that need our help, and while you're bickering on who does what and where, that kid's losing more time. So let's get in there and let's fix what we need to do to make sure these kids are back on track.
Well, and that's the educational gap that we're looking at.
Yeah.
We were pretty fortunate, and depends on how you look at it. I mean, I think we were fortunate that we did go ahead and still use some of our assessments to make sure where we were, and because of that, we've got real-time data.
Yeah.
A lot of the districts around the state are waiting until this year to really try to put forth something, and that's fine. But we know where we're at.
Sure.
And I don't know that makes me feel better. I don't know that makes me feel worse. I don't think it was a huge shock whenever we got our numbers, and
sure.
And so moving forward with that, now we actually can take back to our teachers. Okay, this is where they are. This is where they were. This is the material. This is the curriculum that you have. These are the supports that are available by the district. These are from professional development to side-by-side coaching to multiple levels of support for the teachers and for the kids. If you're having some behavioral issues, there's probably a root cause to that. I don't think they just walked in the door and said, today I think I'm going to act like this.
Sure.
So we're really starting to try to ramp up our emotional, support, our behavioral support for not just for the in-class situations, but we have some classes that we've started offering with some of our parents that, hey, if you would like some parenting help, and not, hey, we're going to tell you how to do things.
Yeah.
But it is just it's just some good theories, some good practices. So it's opened our doors a lot more to trying to be a better resource for everybody.
I can almost guarantee that every parent on the planet, when they first became a parent, probably like, what am I getting into? I have no idea. And then, you get overwhelmed. At some point, every parent gets overwhelmed or like this thing didn't come with an owner's manual. I don't know what I'm doing here. And so, yes, seek help. This is obviously, when you talk about the school district, who's better at working and dealing with kids every day than people in the school district? So if you're like, hey, how do they get my kid to do the stuff I want him to do in the classroom, I can't get him to do it at home.
Right.
Well, talk to them. Let's see if we can work on that. So there's consistent message at home and at school. You know what I mean? And that's probably part of the problem with some of this is if the kids get conflicting messages in different places, they don't know what's the right way to do. And so maybe some of that is being in concert with what's going on in school and saying, all right, let's take what we're doing here and apply that at home. And when you find that out, you start seeing the routines, patterns, and things start clicking, and maybe that's the issue. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But that's where these sources can help figure that out,
Yeah.
So take advantage of that.
Well, and I mean, I've spent my entire career from the age of 14 to 19 and, give or take 25 years of being in that environment. And now I have a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old, and there's days that I'm just like, holy cow, wait a minute, this isn't supposed to happen like this. So
right.
I mean, it again, there's not any type of a stigma to it, but it is an option. It is some support that we're opening up for the parents. And again, we're trying to pour as much resources into the schools for that, because I think if we had a thing right now that we're really trying to focus on, that would be it, because we've got them in the rooms, we've got everybody back.
Yeah.
We feel like we've got what we need to do in place. We know the timelines for it. We know how it needs to be done. And then you run into issues inside the classrooms, and that's what we're trying to clean up now.
Yeah.
So,
but I can tell you this: we've got a bunch of people busting their tails, doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Support them, help them. They need your help. They need this is. I know we joke that takes a village, all that, but when it comes to these kids and getting, especially now more than ever as we're post-COVID world here, we all need to work together to help make sure we can provide the best opportunities for kids, because you're fighting, you're bickering, you're when you get into these adversarial scenarios, at the end of the day, the only person that's going to get hurt are the kids in that classroom. Yeah. So let's avoid that altogether, and let's do everything on our power to work in concert. And obviously, if you see things that are not right, don't stand up and ignore that kind of stuff. Right. But at the same time,
there's a process.
You may not see the whole thing from all angles. Therefore, from what you're saying makes sense from your perspective. But when you see all perspectives, you're like, okay, where I'm coming from does not make sense. But you got to understand that, and let that's all I'm saying is let people and don't get me wrong, they want to hear these concerns and things. Sure. But when they say, well, it's not because of this, and this, understand they're not blowing smoke. This is there's other concerns we got to for the good of everybody.
Right.
So, and that's where we have to kind of work together on. So. That being said, after kind of getting down tangents and rabbit holes and what have you, the school board did meet last night.
We did meet last night. Yeah.
As far as meeting goes, pretty busy one, pretty light, somewhere in the middle, or
I'm gonna say somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
We give or take about a 2.5 hour meeting, almost pushing 3 hours, but not quite. There's lots of business stuff. We had some policies that came up that we needed to talk about. An admin salary scale that we needed to kind of put the finishing touches on and clean it up after we did our teacher raises. So, just rolling through what we did last night. We partner, I don't want to say partner, but we support the board certified teachers. So that's something that if you're board certified, that takes you anywhere you want to go in the country, and that's
like an official seal of approval.
It's not just an official seal. It is a really high honor if you make it through that.
Is it like an equivalent of like the Dental Association? A dentist is accredited by the dent, something in that nature.
It's something along that lines.
Okay. It's a big deal.
Yes, and the teachers that do that, it's more than a dossier. It's more than. Like to me, it's more than the equivalence of a master's. It's a really big deal, and that's not everybody does it. But
okay, for us sports idiots, is it kind of like in the NFL? You have Pro Bowlers, but then there's guys that are all pro.
There you go.
These are the all pros of the teaching world.
I think this group right here has taken it upon themselves to go above and beyond to ensure that they have got what they need to be as successful in the classroom as possible. They're
the best in the business. That's what it means.
Big deal. So we had a quick presentation by them. They honored some of our teachers that are walking through that process. Had a safety update with our safety liaison, LJ Harrell. LJ does a great job. He went over some of the things that we're doing. Some of the stuff that we can talk about is we've installed safety. It's a safety film on our glass. So like at the doors next to the classroom doors that have glass in them, or glass that is next to a classroom door to try to prevent somebody from being able to gain easy access to the classrooms or the vestibules as they're coming into the building. We've got a company here and they're working feverishly to get that done. I mean, we're talking 13, 14-hour days, doing a phenomenal job with that. We have 11 of our doorbell cameras that J&G Electric is feverishly trying to get put in as well. We've been waiting on that product for quite a while. So at every school, when you walk up, you'll have a door that'll be locked, but you'll have a button and there'll be a camera there. So whoever it is that's answering that inside, whether that be the receptionist or the principal, when you get ready to buzz yourself in, you'll get your name, and they have an opportunity to see your face, perhaps maybe even show a driver's license. We haven't really talked about a standard policy with that. We're just super excited that we have the ability now not to have somebody have to bang on the door.
Sure.
And some of our schools, we've got a couple of them. It's a blind turn. So you would come out of your receptionist's office or your principal's office and have to walk around a corner. And it can be kind of scary sometimes. I mean, you never really know what's coming around that corner.
Absolutely. Well, this is the world.
It's where we're in.
It is. And let's face it. A lot of these buildings that are schools in our district weren't built with the design of, let's make it as secure as possible. That this is a place of learning. How do we make it? And so now they're like, oh, by the way, now that the world we live in, we have to make these. So you're basically seeing every security weakness because these buildings weren't meant to be. They're schools. They're not prisons. And so now you're looking and saying, all right, there's a lot of vulnerabilities. What do we got to do to do? And this is where technologies come in and say, okay, we've got to make these secure because this world we live in now, and so it's great to see that, even though it's sad we have to do this, and it's sad that we've got to turn our schools into these security meccas, but that's the world we live in now, and it's great to see that. And I will say this, just because again I see my wife, and she's a school. This district's always done a good job, as long as I've seen it. When they do security and things, they work in concert with our law enforcement, the sheriffs, the RPD, depending on obviously where the school is located in the district here. But all of that is done in concert, working together. And and it's sad to see, the things we see across the country here. Obviously the one in Texas, more recently is hit home a lot harder than others here. I like to say, this district, sure, is there breaches or things? There's always going to be things that, when there's this many moving parts, there's always going to be a weak link somewhere. But they do an amazing job of trying to stay ahead of that and doing that kind of, now that this world we live in, doing the best we can with what we got. And that's just it. In a perfect world, $1 billion shows up and we can make every school Fort Knox in a week, but that's fantasy talk. We can't do that. So
and there would probably still be a way.
Yeah.
Even with that, one of the things that Mr. Harold does when we do our trainings is we remind teachers, administrators, support staff, anybody that's in a building anywhere. We do our training even at our central office as well. A locked, shut door before something happens is one of the biggest deterrents to things happening inside a classroom, a hallway, a building. And again, it's so easy to point a finger or to say, see, look at this or look at that. You're still dealing with a human element. And again, you don't want. I would like for a school to be as warm and as welcoming as possible. And that's tough whenever you walk down a hall and every door is shut.
Sure.
And the first thing that happens when you get to a building is you're pointed into a particular direction and you're asked who you are and what your business is there.
Yeah.
It is a pretty heavy lift to ask of our parents. I will do that gladly every day, with knowing that why we're doing that is to try to keep the kids and the staff inside safe.
Well, and this is because I've, some parents have ran into things like, I'm trying to get my kid and it got a little tricky.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? I understand you're upset because you just want to get your kid, but guess what? The priority right now isn't you. The priority is your kid. And they're prioritizing your child over you for the safety of your kid. So I can understand you're frustrated, but it's coming from a place of safety and love. And if you're truly the parent, we'll figure it out. Yeah. But if you do have a little bit of a gauntlet to go through to get through there, it's because your kid is worth the protection. And if you think of it that way, it's like, well, glad would you rather just roll in and grab your kid than later think, well, crap, anybody could have walked in and grabbed my kid and left, now that I think about it, and that didn't happen, did it? And that's it. So I get it. You get a little frustrated, but when you look at what we're trying to do here, you should be thankful, not upset.
Well, and
the way I see it.
We've talked with our principals and our secretaries at the trainings, and we said, okay, look, this will happen. You will have a parent that will have made a doctor's appointment and or they have made it for a long time. They just got it, whatever the case may be. The anxiety is pretty high because of whatever. They get off work late because the boss said this, or this. They're going to run up to the building. They're going to be, at a maximum amount of just give me my kid.
Sure.
Just try.
They're flustered.
Just try to work with them, and again that's going to happen. We know that's going to happen because that's just the way things work.
We're always going to err on the side of caution in something like that.
Absolutely.
I understand it might be inconvenient, but if we don't, then we can guarantee you live to talk about it another day. If we don't treat it anything differently, we can't make that guarantee.
Well, the hope is that if that does, if you run into an incident where it takes you forever, you and your kiddo can be mad at us for like the next 80 years, and that's fine with me.
Sure.
Because that means that everything's okay.
You're still around to be mad.
You're here to be mad at that.
Absolutely, and we'll live with that one.
You bet. Walk through some a 90-day presentation by Mesa Middle School, going over their data, kind of what they're doing. Had some presentations on some of our assessment from last year, our middle school and our K-5 from Mr. Bewley. Again, nothing that we didn't already anticipate, but just needed to share that with the board in a public forum. Went through some regular stuff, I would say, some bills and stuff, and then ran over some policies. And they were first readings, and so we did have a little bit of conversation about it, and that was a little later on in the meeting. So we have not had in board policy any kind of a medical cannabis policy as far as the how-to. So
as far as what staff and things go?
Well, it would be more the kids. So like if you had a student that was prescribed cannabis by a physician, what would be the process for which any kind of medication would be given at school should that have to happen?
Gotcha.
Because, when
I would imagine if it's held by, say, the school nurse or something, that maybe that's I don't know.
But we didn't have anything set.
Okay.
So what's been
the
happening?
protocol?
What's the protocol for that? And so our nursing supervisor Katie McLean did a phenomenal job and came up with a policy, a checklist, and a treatment plan.
Gotcha.
And came up with some actual documents that we're going to run through legal. We'll run it back through the board services that we use.
Well, it's considered anything with cannabis in it's considered a controlled substance like anything else, right?
Yes, sir. But what was happening, especially at the secondary levels, like your high school and your mid school, is you'd have a student that would come in and say, "Hey, I have this card, therefore I can have it in my pocket."
Sure.
And
no, it's still a drug-free zone.
We would run into issues with that with the parents, and it's like, okay, that's not the way that works. And they'd say, "Well, show me where that's written." Well, we don't have it written anywhere. Well, now we're working through the process, and what we tried to do is just like what you said a second ago, almost more like a nameless faceless. It fits the same criteria as every other thing that we would give from the school nurse. It can't be something that's smoked. It can't be something that's edible. It can't be a gummy or something like that. It has to be a particular type of medication.
Okay, in a pill form.
In a pill form.
Or like a NyQuil or whatever. I don't know. Whatever,
I don't even
whatever they consider medicine.
Well, and again, it's very specific. It spells it out.
Okay.
So
or
that
injectable maybe. I don't even know. Is that a thing?
Not
I have no idea.
So the deal with that is that this way you can also take this to a local medical provider and say, okay, if you really feel like this is what this student needs, you're the doctor. Literally you are the doctor.
Sure.
But for them to be able to have it, if it should have to be administered at school, this is the format that it has to be.
Sure. Because any other medicine like that,
that's correct,
would be in the possession of the nurse, and then the student would, in theory, when it's time to take their meds, would go see the nurse. The nurse would distribute it, and that way the kid can't pop pills out of sequence, or in essence give it to their friends or do anything nefarious.
Absolutely.
With it, so.
Well, and there's a process for how you get it to the nurse, and what happens at Christmas, and what happens at the end of the year, and what happens if you don't pick it up, just like there is with everything else. So we wanted to put together a clean policy when it came to that. So that one took a little bit of time, just some good question and answer session with the board.
To me, in my head, and then again, I'm not the most qualified to answer this, but in my head, it's like whatever you do for like pain meds and when they're prescribed those types of things, policy shouldn't really be much different than for that than it is for the cannabis, in my opinion. But
and that's pretty much the way it's going to play out.
Yeah.
For I mean, without getting into the nuances of the policy, and that is the way it's going to work.
Gotcha.
So it was interesting. I got a call from a local TV station, and they wanted to know about that, and I was just like, wow, that made news. I was like, it's kind of a no story here, guys. I mean, we're
fishing to try to make to stir a pot.
Well, we're just trying to put together
and
something.
Marijuana in schools in the same sentence is going to stir a pot.
Oh,
every
absolutely.
time.
but again, our goal is not. Our goal is, even really, to be honest, it's not even so much of a preventative thing or anything like that, or a judgmental thing. It's as much as it is a, you know what? Let's go for uniformity and consistency across the board, and that's what we need to do, is to make sure that we're supporting our nurses, supporting our administrators.
And I have a wife that's a teacher, but I have no idea, and I'm just generally curious. For staff and administration, do they have the same style rules on that, or are they allowed to be more? Because obviously, if a teacher's been prescribed a pain med, do they have to go check in with a nurse, or do they just take it as needed, like they would at any? I mean, is there policy for that? I'm just curious. I have no idea.
Well, I'll take that back to your original question of okay, what would the policy be for them taking any type of other prescription medication?
Gotcha.
There's not one. So,
okay.
So when we would obviously work with our staff when it comes to something like that.
Gotcha. I'm just curious because I was thinking, because at the end of the day, these are adults. They're responsible people. They can manage their own times to take their meds and things. But if it gets to controlled substances, like something with codeine or something like that's considered a narcotic, does that change the rules on that in a school? Because technically, it's a drug-free zone, and if you're caught with drugs in a drug-free zone, fines and sentencing gets a lot harsher. And I was just curious about that.
Some of the new legislation that has come out in the last 4 or 5 years has not done schools any favor. I'll just kind of leave that one at that.
So
when it comes
there's
to
work to be done in this.
A little bit of work to be done, but at the same time, I mean,
just curious.
A lot of it you might not know that you don't know it until you don't know it. Until something comes up that says, "Oh my gosh,"
and that's the problem. Nothing will happen until someone abuses the policy and exposes that there's a problem there.
Well, and again, trying to be a little proactive with that. And then the last one that we ran through, which is some policy reading, was on Narcan, and officially having Narcan at our schools should we run into some type of an opioid overdose.
Sure.
We had an incident last year where we thought we had an exposure, and we didn't. We start communicating with law enforcement, and one of their comments was, well, do you have this on site? And we did not. So started looking around, trying to find, as far as statewide, does anybody have something like that? Well, we now actually have it at every building. It is housed with the nurse. So, I mean, should we run into something like that?
God forbid, you hope you never need it.
I mean, it could be something even as simple as an elementary school student that picks something up that's got it, that it's laced in it.
That's true.
Or that the incident last year, we thought maybe perhaps one of our security guards in doing a search had come in contact with that. And so that was pretty scary. But again, our nurse has done a phenomenal job with, okay, this is how we're going to train. And ironically, with that one was in my head, if I just substituted epinephrine pin, an EpiPen with this, everything did fit just like clockwork.
Right.
So that goes back to your way of thinking, and it's something that we just wanted to bring to the board.
Sure.
It was a first reading, so we'll go clean them up, get them through legal, and get a little bit of feedback from our powers that be.
Good deal.
And that way we can have that in place. And again, hopefully that's something that we're never going to need.
Sure.
But you just never know.
But obviously, for folks listening here, if you've got concerns one way or another, please shoot an email to your representative on the school board. Mm-hmm. Go to the RSD website if you're not sure which one's yours, or any of them. Shoot one to any of them. And share your thoughts, opinions, and they'll be happy to kind of educate you or give you information on what they're leaning towards and getting you. But yeah, if you've got suggestions, ideas, or things or concerns, please reach out to your school board members and talk with them about it. So when it's time for them to make these decisions, they can take that into account. So think about it. There's just that's how the process works.
Well, and last year when we ran through that, I mean, in discussing with local law enforcement, I mean, one of their comments was, well, why didn't you just do this? Why didn't you just use the Narcan? And we're like, well, we didn't have it. And they're like, we have how many do you need?
Yeah, we can leave you some.
Because I hadn't paid a whole lot of attention to it, to be honest with you, and then started doing a little bit of research on it and the availability and what it does and what it can't do.
It saves lives.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and
we can get into ethics later, but now the person's alive to talk about that.
I can tell you from personal experiences, when you're in a building and you feel like you've got a serious medical crisis that's going on, it feels like time stands still.
Yep.
It does not matter where you're at or how far away I've been. Right around the corner from the ambulance station or 4.5 miles from the ambulance station, it literally feels like time stands still. So we just want to make sure that we've equipped everybody with the tools that they need.
Yeah. So it's good to hear that. So we're almost out of time. Is there any other highlights we definitely want to make sure that we put on people's radar or talk about?
I tell you what, we've got a fair, a kind of a quasi job fair coming up on the 21st.
Oh, good.
We have that's the other part. Staff training. We're trying something different with our professional development this year. So October 21st, which I believe would be next Friday.
Okay.
We are going to release all students in the district at 12 o'clock. So they're going to do a half day.
Okay.
We'll still feed them everything. There's no change in that. No break.
Normal meal schedule.
Normal meal schedule. All of that.
Just the buses will run a little different.
Buses are going to run earlier, but from 12 to give or take 1:30 will be time for the teachers to help process the kids out of the building, get the buses taken care of, get them something to eat, and get to training sites. On that day, we also have a job fair, and I'll get you the flyer. I thought I had it here with my stuff for anybody that would like to maybe pursue a degree in teaching, that maybe some of our subs, for instance.
There's some great programs that the district's offering right now. Yeah.
And the college has been phenomenal. We're going to have representatives from the college that could take a look at their transcripts. This is going to be a one-stop deal for them, so they wouldn't have to run around town. They don't have to take a day off work. And like I said, I'll get you that flyer.
Okay, yeah,
I shared that with the board last night, and I didn't get it back.
Good deal.
But that's a big deal
stole
for
your
us.
paper, huh? Jeez. Savages.
I guess I'll let them take it.
We'll make copies. $5. No, I was kidding. But that sounds great. And I imagine, too, if you're also looking for careers in all the other parts of the district, too.
Absolutely.
Food service or custodial or admin
maintenance,
many other thousands of moving parts that is part of the RASD. You can apply at that job fair as well, too. But if you are, like you said, saying, I want to, pursue my teaching degree to get that, and this program is really, if you have degrees and other things that kind of, they use this to help kind of transfer that over, or while you're pursuing that degree and you're getting close to the finish line, need a little more help, talk to the district. They've got a lot of opportunities for that kind of stuff.
There has been so many things coming out from the state right now. If you, I joked the other day, I said, if you can make it through your first year of college, and that should be paid for too with some of the scholarships and things that the state has to offer. If I can get you into to even year 3, we ought to be able to pick you up into something and take you forward. So,
and that's the thing too is once you're in and you've got your bachelor's and things, take advantage of those things to pursue the master's, and so towards the dossier, so you can rise higher in levels and things throughout that's my wife, she's at that point now where, obviously 25 years, but she went and got her master's or got help through special programs.
Sure.
So we got grants, and so basically she paid half price for her master's degree through various programs and things. And there's all kinds of stuff that available now. She's at the highest levels that she can possibly be because of her training and things that she took advantage of over the years. So
our salaries are extremely competitive. In fact, they're not just extremely. I think they're some of the highest.
Teachers
in the
are
state.
getting good pay now here in New Mexico. Say what I know a lot of people have issues and things about a lot of things in our state, but they did a good thing by actually paying our teachers now, and they're now competitive wages. They're actually wages that are commiserate with the education. And I mean, sure, there's more things that could be done. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But it is a step in the direction of, hey, these are professionals. We need to treat them and pay them as such.
Absolutely.
Because quite frankly, we're going to lose all of them if we don't. Because smart people that know that they can do more and better, if people they're going to eventually say, I'm done with this and I'm going to go do something else.
So I saw a news story last night with a really good looking guy that made a comment that we did have people not retire because they knew these salary schedules were coming, and they thought they could take advantage for maybe a year or two. So
I might know someone like that.
Yeah,
pretty close with her.
No comment.
Well, thank you, Brian, as always. Appreciate it. And anything we could do, let us know. And we'll see you next time. All right?
You bet.
All right. 8:58.
Bennett. Inflation at the wholesale level rose 8.5% in September from a year earlier. Its third straight decline, though it is still at a painfully high level. Correspondent Rita Foley reports on how inflation is affecting Americans.
Consumers are wrestling with stubbornly high inflation. It's draining many Americans' bank accounts, frustrating businesses, and raising alarm bells at the Federal Reserve.
While the majority of Americans see high prices as beyond President Biden's control, they continue to disapprove of his handling of the economy overall. Our recent survey finds 54% saying their finances are good. That figure was at least 62% through the global recession caused by the pandemic in 2020, and even in late 2021 and early 2022 as prices began to rise across the country. But inflation's prolonged bite has left the U.S. and the wider world facing the possibility of a downturn, and despite solid job growth, more consumers are feeling the pain. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett in Washington.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and early detection saves lives. Take care of yourself by staying up to date on your mammograms at Artesia General Hospital. Their 3D mammography brings you the most accurate technology with your comfort and convenience in mind. Appointments average just 15 minutes. If you're a woman over age 40, you don't need a doctor's referral to schedule a mammogram. Remember, early detection saves lives. Request your appointment today at artesiageneral.com/mammogram.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you could call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. Let Do Right do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
If you need a Kubota that works and plays hard, stop looking. You'll find everything you need at Amigo Machinery. When it comes to tough Kubota tractors, mowers, construction equipment, and utility vehicles, all with low-rate financing, Amigo Machinery is your one-stop shop. We are passionately committed to providing our customers with the highest quality products, most innovative solutions, and services delivered with integrity and professionalism. Stop by Amigo Machinery in Roswell or see us online at amigo-machinery.com.
The inflation report, September's
Your home for Armed American Radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
Rose 8.2% in September compared with a year earlier. The cost of housing and other necessities are intensifying pressure on households, wiping out pay gains that many have received. The high inflation rate also ensures that the Federal Reserve will keep raising interest rates aggressively.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. Millions of Social Security recipients will be getting an 8.7% boost in their benefits next year. The cost of living adjustment driven higher by surging inflation. It's the biggest boost in benefits in 40 years. The UN General Assembly voting to condemn Russia's annexation of Ukrainian territory. And in Moscow, the BBC's Steve Rosenberg says no sign of Vladimir Putin changing course.
President Putin hasn't admitted mistakes or miscalculations. Instead, in recent weeks, he's been focused on escalating the conflict. There is no end in sight to this war. But later today, President Putin will meet President Erdogan of Turkey on the sidelines of a regional summit in Kazakhstan. A Kremlin aide suggested that at this meeting, the Turkish leader may raise ideas for peace talks on Ukraine, but there is no guarantee they will happen.
NATO's secretive nuclear planning group has held a meeting as the military alliance presses ahead with plans to hold a nuclear drill next week. Connecticut's governor says 3 police officers shot last night were answering a domestic violence call at a home in Bristol when they were ambushed. 2 of the officers died, the other seriously injured. The suspect fatally shot at the scene. Wall Street, the Dow down 285 points, NASDAQ off 209. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Early Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon two factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Pyongyang has fired off more missiles.
North Korea says leader Kim Jong-un has supervised tests of long-range cruise missiles, which he described as a successful demonstration of his military's expanding nuclear strike capabilities and readiness for actual war. Analysts say Kim is exploiting the distraction created by Russia's war on Ukraine, using it as a window to accelerate arms development as he pursues a full-fledged nuclear arsenal that could viably threaten regional U.S. allies and the United States. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A bomb went off earlier today near a Syrian military bus, killing at least 18 soldiers, wounding more than 24 others. Similar attacks in recent years have killed and wounded dozens of soldiers in government-held parts of the war-torn country. Last March, terrorists attacked a military bus in central Syria, killing 13 troops, wounding 18 others. Breaking news and analysis. Townhall.com. A Texas congressman up for re-election drawing fire for using a heavily edited photo of his female opponent in a campaign ad.
Democratic Representative Vicente Gonzalez posted the ad to Twitter that features a harsh edited picture of Republican opponent Representative Mayra Flores. The gun control-themed ad contains a photo taken from Flores' Instagram page, but the picture of her face has been photoshopped to show her eyebrows dragged down, an effort that makes her appear sinister. According to the Daily Mail, the Gonzalez campaign also paid a Texas blogger to attack Flores online with racist comments. One referred to her as, quote, Mrs. Enchiladas, end quote. Tasha Stevens reporting.
New poll finds Americans from across the political spectrum say misinformation increases extreme political beliefs and hate crimes. The survey from the Pearson Institute and the AP-NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Fall in full effect right now, dude.
Yeah, see the winds are whipping.
I had to run my son's backpack to him at school and sitting at a stoplight, and I'm just getting berated with leaves, just all over the car.
Yeah. So. Yeah, wind's kind of breezy at the moment, so any of those turnt leaves Probably getting ripped off right
Them
now.
Lucy's. I heard somebody the other day say that they were taking a vacation to Boston to watch the leaves change.
Okay.
And I understand that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really that dramatic of a thing? I've never been to that part of the country in that part of that time of year.
I don't know if it's dramatic.
Is it worth a cross-country trip to go watch the leaves change?
If you're into it that much, maybe.
Because I've heard this before. I've heard people say that people travel to Boston or to that area to watch the leaves change in the fall. It was a whole episode arc on an early season episode of Family Guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this a thing? Do people literally take road trips to go watch leaves change colors?
Yeah, no. I think they'll go do it if it's that's one of the things. They're like, hey, we'll go to Boston. We'll go see, this, and we'll see the leaves change while we're there. I don't know if people are going. Maybe they choose this time of year because that's one of the added things to go.
I guess. It's just.
But yeah, you get out into Massachusetts in that area, and then you get into the communities and stuff, and it's a lot of green, and then it turns to fall. So it's pretty.
But I've heard that referenced even in song. People are like, watch the leaves change in the fall.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, that's just the thing.
No, I know, but I'm saying it's I've never. It must be an antiquated, a bygone thing, because there's so much streaming content right now. It's I can't keep up with that, and people are taking cross-country trips to watch leaves change colors.
So I don't know. Many people are going cross-country just to see it.
Apparently they are, if it's a thing.
Maybe they may in the area, and they're like, hey, let's drive up to Massachusetts, It's no different than in D.C. Everyone comes to D.C. in April,
I don't remember who it was, but somebody from here was saying that they were taking a vacation so that they can go watch the leaves change. I'm like,
maybe, are they retired, older?
I don't know about their mental status. Oh, retired.
Are they? Maybe they are retired or in the years that they travel and like to see things, and that was one of the things they wanted to see.
I want to say it was either like Art Sandoval, but I don't think it was him, or one of the pastors. I don't remember, but somebody was saying it.
Sounds like,
It sounds like a delightful excursion. Don't get me wrong. I'm one who wants to go frolic in a field. Far be it for me to judge anyone's, ways of passing time. But that just seems like a very odd and antiquated reason for a trip.
I just think it depends on where you grew up and what you're into.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I know people make trips to D.C. end of March, April, just so they can see the cherry blossoms. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing.
That kind of makes sense to me, even because the cherry blossom when they come, those are beautiful.
Well, in New England, you tend to get a more colorful spread of fall colors.
Yeah,
you get the reds, the golds, the browns. It's not just the browns, and so it kind of is a little. In New York, Massachusetts, New England area, you kind of get a more robust color collage in your fall changings than maybe you would say here.
Sure.
You might just get some yellow brown, but you'll get reds and some golds, and it does look pretty, and for photographers and people that like to take that kind, those kinds of photos and things, they turn out to be that beautiful professional quality photos and things. But past that, I don't think it's anything special.
Boston's fall foliage blazes across the city from late September through October and often well into November. Although you can see lots of gorgeous leaves on New England fall foliage tours, you can also enjoy spectacular leaf color by sightseeing around Boston on your own. So there's actual tours to watch leaves change. That's what I'm saying. This is a legitimate business up there.
Okay.
So what am I not getting? I need to go, you know what it is? I need to go experience it so I know.
It's another version of ghost tours and things like that.
Which, by the way, there's a comedian that has a bit about this. I think it's Kyle Kinane, but he's talking about how he went on a Jack the Ripper tour when he was in England.
I would assume it's London.
Yeah. And on this tour, at the end of the tour, and they go through all these really cool places, and he's talking about the tour itself. But at the end, they said, in all, Jack the Ripper was responsible for the deaths of 3 people. He's like, wait, 3 people? He's like, an American would knock that out on the way to work. It's a weird time to have pride as an American, but I really did. I was like, that's one place where Americans exceed.
Your serial killers aren't that.
That's right. We don't stop at 3. We certainly don't make tours about them.
You ought to talk to one of our...
A shrink. I know. I've been working on
one of our employees, Jamie. She actually went, I want to say she took a vacation to England, to London, and did her own Jack the Ripper tour. Huh. She's also one that likes to go to Salem for the witch trials and wherever Lizzie Borden's house is and all that stuff like that. That's kind of her bag. So,
nifty.
Some like Lee's.
On that note, there is actually a hotel. I want to say it's in Tucumcari. It's famous for being the most haunted location in New Mexico.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of those.
It's the station I used to work at actually used to do an overnight broadcast from that place.
Oh really?
Yeah. I always thought that was kind of a kitsch thing.
Yeah, well, they got one in Cruces too. I mean, shoot, go to Cloudcroft.
New Mexico's just haunted in general.
Yeah, every state, every place has their own little thing.
That's right.
You just gotta, anything that's got old stuff. I mean, you think about it, it's kind of tends to draw that kind of thing.
And we've got the oldest stuff.
It's like Gettysburg. If you ever go to Gettysburg, most tourists are there to see the battlefield and stuff, but they have quite an industry of ghost tours and people going through town, and various locations are haunted, and all of them are related to the Battle of Gettysburg. Some soldier died here, or some woman that was a nurse aided some people that died here. Now she roams this building, things like that.
Right.
Couple generals that they claim roam around Gettysburg there. Reynolds is one of them, I've heard. There's been a couple others, but it's every town.
Anytime you see an asylum, you can pretty much assume.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, just watch Ghost Adventures. And any place there's an old hospital or an old prison, they guarantee they're going to be doing stuff there.
I know you got an interview to get to, but how come they've never, not one time, run into a homeless person? I find that really hard to believe. When people are, when you have groups of people who are staying overnight at these, in some situations, abandoned locations, and never one time have you guys come across a crackhead or a grifter.
I'm sure they have. Now I remember, now I haven't watched the recent episodes in the last couple of years,
right?
But the first few years when it was popular,
I stopped watching after they put the laser grid. Do you remember that? It was like Ghost. It was like the two guys, Ghost Adventures, I think.
Yeah.
They had a laser. It was a laser light grid.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And that was like the way
stick
they would
figure would come on there.
That was the way they would detect any movement, because they would block one of the lights.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, all right, I'm out. I think we're done here. This is just stupid.
But I remember those episodes, the early ones. I don't know if they used to talk about how they would seal out the buildings to make sure there's no other people or anything in there, so they don't get tainted evidence from other people in the area. I don't know if they do that, but I remember those early episodes. They used to talk about that part of it. Like they would make sure they'd lock, because the big deal in those early episodes,
they would be locked in,
and they would actually show somebody physically
and
locking them in.
And a lot of those places are places that are still open, but when they would go and tour like the ones that were closed, like the ones that were like abandoned and stuff like that always blew my... It's like,
and I'm sure there is, it just doesn't make the filming.
Right.
Like they have, I mean, think about it. They're probably in there, 14 hours? And you only see 30, 40 minutes of that.
But you would think that the most exciting part of any film shoot would be when a crackhead comes out of the shadows with just a bunch of cats and just they're hurling him at the production crew.
Unless there's humor in it, they probably... But I imagine they get... I know they've seen animals and stuff. I know I've seen ones where they debunk something as being a cat or a raccoon or something. But yeah,
some swamp gas.
But I don't know. I haven't watched it more modern, more recent seasons of it. I haven't watched, so I'm sure it's way off the rails now, because there's the one guy's gone. The one guy's been gone for years.
Zach? No, Zach's still at it.
No, there used to be 3 of them.
Right.
There was the camera dude, Zach, and the other guy. And the other guy left about 3-4 seasons in. I think he started his own paranormal thing for a while.
He's like, I could do this.
Yeah. he was like, because like he started, because there was the original one, the paranormal.
It was the Ghost Adventures, I think, was the first one.
No, there was those other ones before Ghost Adventures. I think they're British or something.
Okay.
I keep wanting to say Paranormal Activity, but that's the movie. It's another competing big deal. I think they were actually before Ghost Adventures. Ghost Adventures and Zach turned it into a whole with his shirts and his corniness. But, I can't remember. There was the other group that was kind of famous, too, for these adventures. And they weren't Ghost Adventures. Like Ghost Hunters, maybe?
Let's see.
Maybe they were called Ghost Hunters.
I'm trying to find anything on
I don't remember
paranormal television.
But there was a big one before Ghost Adventures. And then Ghost Adventures kind of jumped in. I want to say like Ghost Hunters or I don't know, something like that.
I'm trying here.
Yeah. While he's doing that, I'm going to do the weather.
Yeah, you should do something else.
Yeah. So while he's looking at that, we will take a look at your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks pretty good for the next couple of days. Comfortable daytime highs, and then we have cold front that'll be arriving Saturday night and Sunday with some showers. Sunshine today, though, our high in the upper 70s. Overnight looks clear, down to 50, and then we're in the low 80s for the afternoon high on Friday with sunshine. A few clouds on Saturday and mid-80s, and then rain on Sunday, mid-60s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 53 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 77% with winds out of the north at 13 miles per hour. 77 and sunny today with north winds 5 to 10. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 50. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, sunny and 83 with north winds 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 55. Then for the weekend, Saturday, pretty nice, partly cloudy and 84, northwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. And then there's Sunday or Saturday night and into Sunday, and that's where it all gets a bit
wet,
moist. Saturday night, actually, we're looking at a 40% chance of rain, mostly cloudy, 58. Sunday, an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high of 62. So they're saying there's a chance. 60 for Sunday night, an 80% chance of rain as well. Monday, 80% chance of showers, high of 55. 40% Monday night, 20% on Tuesday. So
indeed,
yeah. So enjoy your warm 80 and sunny today, and
soak it in
a couple days
before you get soaked again. It was Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, Ghost Hunters.
Well, here was the problem. There was a ton of different paranormal shows. I knew there was Ghost Hunters. I completely forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
What that list reminded me of, though, was, do you remember the show MTV Fear?
Yeah, I kind of do.
That show was awesome because it was POV. So like they would put cameras on them and just go into places. And
yeah, that was around the time Blair Witch came out.
That was like right in it was like 2000.
Yeah,
it was like when we were in high school. And I remember that because we did I was in a broadcast journalism class and we did this thing called RHS Fear, which is us walking around a dark little theater. Nothing happened. Like we ended up finding Don Tromore, which was actually kind of funny in retrospect.
He was there anyway.
He was.
Turned out he's supposed to be there. It's not that scary. Is that your community version?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I wonder if that film exists in the world somewhere.
I am 100% sure it got taped over.
Yeah.
100, because we had like 6 tapes in the broadcast journalism department, and then I'm sure they're all digital now. But yeah, it was. I'm sure it's been taped.
Just
over.
Be funny if that happened to surface.
That'd be fantastic.
A copy of that.
That would be fantastic if for no other reason than just to get to Trell, just so he could see it. I think he'd enjoy that.
Maybe he has a copy.
I'm right. Miss Fitzsimmons, if you're listening.
This is my early work.
Miss Fitzsimmons, if you're still alive, if you're still with us and listening, please see if you have a copy of that film.
By the way, I watched, like I think I told you yesterday, I watched the first episode of the Icons on Earth about the Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
And a factoid that I, gee whizzly, found kind of happy.
Mm-hmm.
was some of the original animators for The Simpsons, more of the Tracy Ullman days Simpsons. Some of those animators that, by the way, are Academy Award-winning animators, but a couple of them, one of their first big works was the John Cusack movie, One Crazy Summer. If you remember it, with Demi Moore and John Cusack and Bobcat Goldthwait, where they're in a boat race, like a regatta race. But John Cusack's is in love with Demi Moore, trying to get Demi Moore to like him. But he's like a cartoonist. And so he draws all his emotions in these cartoons with these, I think he portrays himself like a big hippo or something. But the animators that animate all is the guys that did the Tracy Ullman Simpsons.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, was that cool. On that Icons on Earth?
Yeah, it was in that first episode because they were talking about it.
I watched that episode. I don't remember that.
There's a part where they talk about their claim to fame, and they mention in just a quick blurb that they were the animators for the movie One Crazy Summer starring John Cusack. And
I thought you were going to go another way with it, which something tickled me was that there was a lot of dissension.
Oh, yeah.
In the early seasons.
Yeah.
Because I used to, one of my favorite things, and I know you got an interview, one of my favorite things in the world to do was listen to commentary tracks. I was that kid. So I've watched the first 6 seasons of The Simpsons I've seen with every episode with commentary. And so it was always just, happy-go-lucky and everybody was super thrilled. But now, that's what I love about Vice is you really get to pull back the rug and see kind of the nonsense that nobody talks about.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was in, I also like the fact that they were talking about how Tracy Ullman didn't like The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like they were kind of upstaging her show.
Which, let's face it, they did.
Yeah, they kind of did.
James L. Brooks, I mean, I had no idea he had such a resume before he came on.
And then of course the animators, I did kind of get a kick out of how they were kind of bagging on Matt Groening's drawing skills.
Right. I chuckled pretty heartily every time I heard that one fella say, Kathy, got to.
Yeah.
That made me chuckle pretty heartily. Say it again. Say it again.
He says 4 times.
Got to.
I vaguely remember those because I remember watching Tracy.
See, I don't remember any of those.
Yeah,
at all.
I was in that age window where Married with Children and Living Color, those were cutting edge TV, and I was at that age where I'm watching Living Color every Thursday night or whatever.
Yeah, you were 20s,
Yeah, I was late
teens.
Yeah, depending on I graduated high school in 91, so I was probably late teens, early 20s, 92, 93.
So 80. Well, Fox debuted in 80.
Yeah, so I would have been in high school
88.
when those were going down,
right?
And then about the time some of the more popular stuff, I was after high school.
I was too young for the first year of The Simpsons, but once, and my parents didn't like me watching it, but I wasn't not allowed to. There were some I was not allowed to watch, but that one was.
Now at that point, I was in high school. My parents allowed me to have a 13-inch TV in my room.
Ooh.
So I was a baller, so I got to watch that stuff. So, all right, it's 8:25. I got to get my interview in. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to play our interview with Margaret Kinnert from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
You've probably heard the story of the prodigal son before. A younger son asks for his inheritance before his father dies. He takes it, runs off to another land, parties it away, and then's got to get a job feeding pigs. The older son is the good son. Stays home, works for his father. The younger son decides to go home and ask for the mercy of his father, intending to ask to be a servant. The father watches for the lost son to come home. When he sees him, he runs out to meet him and throws a party for him, welcoming him home as a son, not as a servant. The older son gets upset at the father's forgiveness of the younger son. The father tells the older son it was fitting to celebrate and be glad, for this brother was dead and is now alive. He was lost and is found. Like the father in the story, God wants to forgive the child who's lost. What's interesting is that both sons were lost. The older one just didn't realize it. Whichever son you are or have been, God loves you and wants to welcome you home.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Ready for some good economic news? Guess not. But New Mexico was 4th best in the nation to reduce its unemployment rate over the last 12 months. That's what the Bureau of Labor Statistics says. There are two strategies Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has championed that have a lot to do with this: the Job Training Incentive Program and the Local Economic Development Act. They help companies expand, hire, and train thousands of new workers each year. For example, the expansion of these training programs that Michelle Lujan Grisham got through the legislature helped land Intel's new chip hub in Rio Rancho. That's 1,000 construction jobs and 700 new hires at high salaries. The Lujan Grisham administration now partners with 85 communities across the state to bring good new jobs to their local areas every year. It's true, Michelle Lujan Grisham delivers a stronger economy, not just the weather.
Paid for by New Mexicans for Michelle.
Approved by Michelle Lujan
Roswell
Grisham.
Skin Center is here to provide comprehensive skin care to southeastern New Mexico in a friendly and warm environment. Dr. Cometti and his team continue to offer a full scope of medical and cosmetic dermatology services, from treating skin cancer to helping you look your best. Roswell Skin Center is proud to introduce Anna Ingalls, licensed esthetician who specializes in cosmetic treatments including laser rejuvenation, hair removal, facials, chemical peels, and more. Anna is accepting new patients, and when you schedule your first treatment, you can receive $50 off and begin earning valuable discounts to be enjoyed throughout the year. Schedule with Anna by calling 575-208-2509, and for more info on our services and rewards, go to roswellskin.com.
Hello, I'm Tara Mitcha, State Director for the National Rifle Association, letting you know that the NRA Political Victory Fund endorses State Representative Greg Nybert for re-election in House District 59. Greg has worked relentlessly to support our Second Amendment rights and to oppose legislation that restricts law-abiding gun owners. Progressive politicians in Santa Fe have an agenda that would erode our right to protect our families, our homes, and ourselves. Greg Nybert will vigorously oppose those who want to tread on our right to keep and bear arms and our precious liberty and freedom. He is a true friend of the Second Amendment and of our sporting heritage in New Mexico. Vote Greg Nybert, representative for House District 59.
I'm Greg Nybert, and I ask you to please vote for me for House District 59. Voting begins on October 11th, and Election Day is November 8th.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Representative. Richard Taylor, Treasurer.
Have you noticed the days are getting shorter? This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but we're on the downhill side of the year, so every day is a couple of minutes shorter than the one before, even though your plants need plenty of food and water to keep them healthy. Like those globe willows that are turning yellow. A good dose of the right fertilizer will make them bright green again. No matter what the problems you're having, we probably have a cure at Roswell Seed Company, but come see us soon, because winter's coming, you know.
Today we're going to give you the 5th key to a great marriage, taken from Drs. Les and Leslie Perot. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage. The 5th key is commitment, living the love you promised.
Galatians 6:9 says, "And let us not get tired of doing what is right, for after a while we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up." You know, one of the keys to commitment is just deciding in your heart, I'm never giving up on God, I'm never giving up on my marriage, I'm never giving up on my family.
Commitment is a promise made and kept by two imperfect people. It's good for our kids to see that problems happen and we're committed to solving them together.
If you want all 5 keys to a great marriage, you can go to our website at jomconference.com.
For people suffering with joint pain, simple movement feels like just taking a step feels like, and lifting your arm can feel like. Don't let joint pain be in charge of your life. The skilled orthopedic experts at Loveless Medical Group SCORE are helping more people take back their lives with some of the most advanced surgeries in the region. We're doing more than restoring joints, we're restoring lives. Call Loveless Medical Group SCORE today at 575-625-3300 so life can feel like,
Join 92.9 The Brand live on remote this Friday 4 to 7 and this Saturday 10 to 1 for the Artesia Arts Council's Art in the Park 22 weekend, happening out at JC Park in Artesia. We'll be there live, telling you about all the great artisan and crafter booths, yummy food trucks, plus performances by the New Mexico School for the Arts Jazz Band, and don't forget the Artesia High School Band Cakewalk. Come hang out with us at this year's Art in the Park, October 14th and 15th at JC Park in Artesia. We'll see you there.
The tool used to measure your feet at the shoe store is called a Brannock device. The person that measures your feet at home for no reason is called a creep with a foot fetish. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:30, and joining us in studio this morning from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, Margaret Kinnard back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Doing well.
Good. So, well, we're like less than a month away from the election. It's hard to believe that, but I'm glad because, with the season of, you can't get through a commercial break without 37 political ads right now.
Right.
I'll be ready for that to go away. But
yes.
But yeah, it's early voting's actually started. We're in the final approach of this election here. For folks that aren't familiar, the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, they actually meet once a month. Is it third Wednesday?
It is the third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday. I always get the Wednesdays mixed up.
Look, we have you trained up.
That's tough to do, and I'm hard to wrangle. But for the third Wednesday month, they meet at the convention center, and for the last several months, and will for this up through the election, have been showcasing and spotlighting various state, county, even national level candidates that are up for election here, and getting folks opportunities to come and hear these individuals speak and ask questions and talk to them before you go to the polls to vote here, beginning now. So we would love to, before you go vote, at least come out to the next meeting here next Wednesday and hear the lineup for this next one.
Yes. And so this next week, we have our state judicial candidates. So we have Thomas Montoya, who is running for Supreme Court.
Okay.
We have Barbara Johnson, who's running for Court of Appeals.
Okay.
And we have Gertrude Lee, who is running for the Appeals Court as well.
Okay. This is one of those ones that's probably really good to go, because let's face it, we all do a lot of research for Congress people, Senate people, commissioners, things like that. But when it comes to judges and things, you're kind of, there's not it's the least political spot in generally these elected positions. But but really it's where these are skill sets. I'm not saying to run for Congress you don't need skill sets, but positions like judge, those are specialized skills. Not everyone can be a judge.
Right.
You know what I mean? And where I'm not saying not anyone can be a member of Congress or something, but at the same time,
there are qualifications you have to meet.
Like if you have no knowledge of the law, it's really hard for you to be a judge.
Yeah. and these are, very important positions because everything runs through our legal system.
Sure. And obviously your family with your dad and everybody, I mean, y'all know about judges and things like that. So you understand why it's important to research and understand, what judges, what positions, because to be honest, their political opinion shouldn't matter that much. What really matters when it comes to judges is how do they interpret the law, and do they interpret the law properly? And at the end of the day, that's their job. Their job's not to get involved in which side's politically, which side's the one that you need to listen to. And no, what does the law say and how do I apply it? And that's what a judge does. So, that's why we say it's the least political position there is.
Well, and, we had an appointed Supreme Court justice who, I'm trying to remember his name now, but he was out of Hobbs.
Okay.
And I believe he was appointed by Susana Martinez several years ago. And he obviously didn't get he didn't get voted for at election because he was appointed to fill a position. And then but one of the things that he said was that he brought diversity to the Supreme Court in that he was from rural New Mexico. Oftentimes you find on the Supreme Court are justices who live in the metro area or Santa Fe area.
They don't understand the way of life in the rural parts. They know the city part. Mm-hmm. So they're not necessarily experts on how things work in rural parts of the country.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So, and having said that, then you kind of know what the Supreme Court of New Mexico is made up of politically.
Gotcha.
Because it kind of is like here in southeast New Mexico, we're conservative, whereas up north in those metropolitan areas, you have more, Democrats representing. So that was pretty interesting and stuck with me.
Seeing the difference.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Whenever he was
Which is a
campaigning.
good point because, from someone like me thinks of it this way, and you're like, what point, DR shouldn't matter when it comes to a judge.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the law. It's pretty black and white. Interpret it the way you're supposed to interpret it. You know what I mean? But I understand experience does come into play, especially on the sentencing side. That's where they get the latitude is, what convicted sentences are dictated based on that, but they do get a lot of latitude that they want to go to the more harsher side of the sentence or the more lenient side of the sentence. And that's where some of that might come into play a little bit is their mindset, their reasoning, what, does this person deserve punishment or does this person deserve a wake-up call or a lesson learned here kind of moment? And that's where that ideology comes into play a little bit.
Yeah.
So interesting. So that's where you get to hear the judges talk and things like that.
And so this is, I think it's something, so every election cycle, I've been involved with the Republican women for, I want to say going on 10 years or so. And so this is one of the meetings that I really enjoy. We also are going to be hearing from Giovanna Eisenberg. I think that's the correct way to say her name. But she comes down. She's been involved in the judicial candidates campaigns nearly every year that I have been around. And there are things that judges can and can't say. So she's going to let us know what you can and can't ask a judge.
Gotcha.
And kind of discuss. So judicial candidates cannot ask for contributions. So that's one of the things but in order to run in a political campaign, you need contributions.
You need money, right.
So that's one of the things that she'll talk about and some other things. I really enjoy listening to her talk and educating us about, these types of things.
Sure.
Another thing, last month we had Cindy Fuller come and speak, and we also had Aunt Thornton.
Chaves County clerk.
Yes, a Chaves County clerk. And she, Aunt Thornton was our other speaker.
Lieutenant governor candidate.
Yes. And so anyway, but what she brought with her, and I think, is important for everybody to know, she brought a sample ballot. So if you don't have a sample ballot, you can go online and get your sample ballot at the voter portal. And I Googled it last night just because I wanted to make sure I could tell everybody. But you just go in there and I typed in SOS, Secretary of State, voter portal, New Mexico. And I was able to look and see who was going to be on my ballot.
Okay.
And because a lot of times you hear Mark Ronchetti is going to be on the ballot. You don't know about the judicial candidates.
Sure.
And most people, including myself, do not know that there's, 2 or 3 constitutional amendments.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course the bonds as well,
right.
Bond C, D, and those ones that impact colleges and libraries and things like that. And you need to know that information. And not to mention with redistricting for the congressional districts, I hate to spoil this for me, but odds are you do not have the same representative representing you right now that you did in the last time you voted.
Correct.
Almost everybody here was District 2 before the redistricting. Now very few of us are in District 2 anymore. You're either in 1 or 3 probably,
right,
depending on what part of town you live. I think unless you're in like the extreme parts of the county, like the Boot Heel, you're not in 2 anymore. I don't remember the exact.
I'm in 3.
Yeah.
And
I'm
Alexis.
in 1.
Oh, you are?
I'm in 1. Yeah.
Cool.
Because I thought I was in 3 as well, and it turned out I was in 1, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of confusing. So please go to that portal or reach out to the Chaves County Clerk's office. They'll be happy to kind of navigate you to that if you can't figure out how to do it.
So helpful.
Yeah.
And there was something else I was going to mention to you. Oh, yeah. And we had Dr. Powell and MG Grizzle at one of our previous, I want to say 2 meetings ago, who talked about the bond issue. And those are no tax increase bonds.
Yeah, please. They cannot ask you to vote for it. I can.
Yeah.
I think you can, too.
I did. At our meeting, they said, we can't ask you. And I said, well, I'm asking you.
Yeah. It is please do not just ignore those. That's it does not generate any more tax dollars out of your pocket. These are bonds that they have to vote on every was it year or 2 years? I don't remember the cycle. And it's just to reassure that they're going to keep giving these money, that the public is okay with giving these monies to, I think bond C is the one for the colleges and B for the libraries. I could be off on that, but
yes, you're right. I think so.
And so every year now, the colleges here in Roswell, it is NMMI and ENMUR both benefit, but every college in the state gets monies from these, and they have them earmarked for projects. I think ENMUR, it's a lot more of some of the security lighting, that kind of, there's some kind of water management or something they've got to do with it. So that money's getting put to there. NMMI, that money's going towards a remodel renovation of their dining facilities, which every time we have a conversation about doing anything construction related at NMMI, it almost takes an act of Congress, because just about every buildings out there is a historical landmark, which means there's certain techniques, certain oversights, certain everything that's involved with that. So, so they use that money to really upgrade a facility, which is very nice, but it's outdated for its usefulness. It needs to be modernized to meet the needs of NMMI today. When you have old buildings and old historic things, sometimes they get outgrown, and their dining facilities that way now. So that's what that money's going for. So when you vote yes for that, that's what it's for.
Right.
And same with the bond B, which is the libraries, the college libraries, your school libraries, the Roswell and city libraries all benefit from that too. That's how they get more books and more materials and more programs available to you for free of charge. So please vote yes on all those.
And, to have the New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell and Eastern New Mexico University Roswell here, I benefited personally from, going to ENMUR and not having to make that drive to Portales until I had to make the drive to Portales to finish my degree. But so many of our children and our adults, reap the benefits of having those facilities, those institutions here. And so I think we really do need to support that.
Yeah.
And
I think as a whole, this part of the state is usually pretty overwhelming supportive of those, and they usually pass. But don't sleep on it. Please make sure you do
it's not listed in there. On the ballot. So
just some people forget to turn over ballots and do things, or some people look at these questions and automatically ignore them. They're very important. To be honest, sometimes those questions they ask on the back are, if not as important, more important than some of the decisions you make on the front of that ballot. You know, it really does have a big impact on this state and this community. So, educate yourself before.
And that's what we're trying to do. Every month we try and bring relevant issues to our members. And, anyone is invited to come. We would love to have you. We would also love for you to become a member. We are rounding out the membership year. We had 150 members here in Chaves County, making us the largest club in the state in September. So
nice.
So we're in a pretty steep competition with Farmington. We're always it's a healthy competition.
Yeah, it's a friendly competition.
We want everybody to have lots of members.
Rumble at 12.
But anyway, we do try to bring a relevant and educational meeting every month. We've had forums in the past. We'll probably continue to do that. So let me tell you about what we're having for lunch. And I just have to brag on the convention center chefs. There are 3 new chefs. One is from Dallas, Texas. One is from, I'm going to mess this up. I want to say Louisiana or maybe that. I think they
like
think
Creole country.
Yes.
All right.
So
Cajun.
Yes, and the other one I'm not sure where she's from, but they are phenomenal. And for them to come here to Roswell, I'm not sure why. I'll have to ask them sometime why they came here. But I think
we abducted them.
Yeah. But anyway, so if you're interested in attending next week, we are going to be having buttermilk fried chicken.
Nice.
Creamy garlic mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and iced lemon cake for dessert. And so our room sponsor for this month is Representative Greg Nybert.
Okay.
And so anyway, we if you'd like to attend, you can reach us on the Facebook, or we have an email for RSVPing.
Come for the food and stay for the conversation.
Exactly. RSVPCCFRW@gmail.com.
Very good. And yes, and do that sooner rather than later so they can get a head count. But and by the way, if you want to come, but you're like, I can't, I'm on a diet, I can't eat delicious fried chicken. That's okay. You can come without having to order food. But if you like, I'm ready to eat. Come and eat and sit and listen and ask your questions afterwards too.
Right.
By the way, to add more confusion, I did get a text saying that they have renamed the bonds to 1, 2, and 3 instead of A, B, C, which. In case they want to make things more convoluted, it's like, hey, in the middle election, let's go from letters to numbers,
Right.
Because, why not?
Yep. So it's going to be the last bond on that.
Somebody's saving their job doing weird stuff like that. We need to change them. Why? Because I have nothing else to do, and they're going to fire me if I don't do this.
Yeah. I wanted to mention next month is going to be a very special month. Every year in November, at the Republican Women Luncheon, we honor veterans. So if you know of a veteran, or your spouse or family members a veteran, and you want to honor them, we are going to be doing that next month.
Nice.
Give us, contact us, and we can make sure that they are honored at that meeting.
I'm sure between our VFW and our American Legion posts, I'm sure there's a few
and
individuals
we are
in
working
the
with Big Lou at the American Legion.
Oh, nice.
To pull this off, to make sure that we
good deal
honor as many people
he's
as
a good
we can.
Dude.
Yes.
Yeah, Louis boy, he's been on a bunch of times.
Has he?
Yeah, he's a real nice guy.
He's my neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. So good deal. Yeah, he knows. He's a good resource for picking, spotting, and rounding up some veterans. He knows a few. So and he's been involved with the school forever.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
So I met him when he ran, and he was a guest at the Republican Women. So that's how I met him.
Oh, okay.
Several years ago when he ran for school board.
Okay. Very cool. Well, yeah, he's pretty active American Legion and still school and everything else too. So good for him. But don't forget, put it on your calendars 1 week from today.
Yes.
Next Wednesday at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. About 11:30, right? It's when everything kind of gets underway.
About 11:30.
Yeah.
That'll give you some time to, talk to the candidates.
Yeah.
Either before or after.
Have your nice buttermilk fried chicken and green bean casserole and lemon cake and garlic mashed potatoes. Is that what the other one? I was like, I'm trying to remember everything, but
you got it. So this is like the. I guess they still do it on the radio, the lunch report in the morning. I don't know.
The school. We haven't done one in a while. I probably need to get back to doing it. I kind of got off the stick on that, but because I have to go hunt it down and then I forget, and then here we sit. So
I couldn't remember if you did it or
I used
just heard it on
to, but then it just kind of faded away, and then no one yelled at me, so then it just kind of went that way. So I should bring it back though. I'll do that. Well, people, if y'all want it, tell me. If not, if you don't care, then I won't do it either. So let me know if you want it, and I will work on trying to remember to do that.
Well, you got the Republican Women Lunch Report, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fried chicken. Good deal. But again, that's next Wednesday, 1 week from today.
Yes.
And then mark it on your calendars. They meet the third Wednesday of every month. And I know, the November one probably, that'll be the calm after the storm, that one.
Yes.
But still, come out and meet, and because there's still a lot of good information there. When there's not direct election stuff, a lot of it they're working on scholarships and youth, and so it's busy, the political cycle. But outside of that, they focus. I mean, obviously they're always working on Republican issues and things, but they kind of turn focus to more community minded service
right.
events.
Well, and hopefully after the new year, if we have some new leadership up in Santa Fe, we'll be able to bring some of those speakers down,
Sure.
Following the session
Educate
and stuff like that. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're always 2 years away from another big election. So
right. It's a never-ending vicious cycle, right?
Absolutely. It is. Again, give out the information if anybody has any questions, wants to learn more, want to RSVP, anything, or if you're interested in becoming a member of the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. Now, you do not have to be just a woman.
Right.
Men are also allowed to be a part as part of the kind of an auxiliary or part of the the support group of the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. So men, women, they're all invited to come be a part.
Right. So the associates are for men, but they're also for anyone under 18.
Okay.
And or that might be a member of another club in New Mexico.
Okay.
So but anyway, so if you can get us on Facebook. We're toying right now with the idea of making an Instagram, but anyway, we are on Facebook, and like I said, you can RSVP to rsvpccfrw@gmail.com.
Good deal.
So.
And then come on out next Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
And,
join us. It'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Come and ask questions and get more involved. If you're interested in becoming a part of the organization, be a lot of people you can talk to on Wednesday. Come hungry and come ready to listen and come ready to get involved.
Yes.
So, good deal. Did we get it all?
I think so.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ma'am. As always, Margaret, appreciate the visit. We'll see you guys next time and keep busy. I know it's hot and heavy this next couple weeks.
Right.
And by the way, if you're wanting to get more involved in candidates, Republican candidates' campaigns, Chaves County Federated Republican Women are very good at putting you in touch with those campaigns and things. So if you're saying, "Hey, I want to help candidate X," they'll be happy to get you in touch with the people you need to get in touch with.
And just to put it out there, the Republican Party of Chaves County is working on some walking days for candidates coming up. So
be on the lookout for that if you want to get involved.
They also have a Facebook page, the Republican Party of Chaves County.
Very good. And that way you can sign up, get involved there, and meet and learn more resources and things to get involved too.
Yes.
So good deal. Well, thank you, ma'am. We'll see you next time. All right.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Don't work too hard.
October 18th and 19th, it will require the closure of one southbound lane of North Union from just north of West College Boulevard to West 13th Street in Roswell. October is National Crime Prevention Month, designated as such with the intent of empowering citizens to help prevent crime in the community and make their neighborhoods safer places to live. Toward that goal, the Roswell Police Department is encouraging everyone to be mindful of just a few simple steps you can take to help reduce crime in your neighborhood. You can see a list of these tips by going to the Roswell Police Facebook page or by visiting roswell-nm.gov. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett. Inflation at the wholesale level rose 8.5% in September from a year earlier, its third straight decline, though it is still at a painfully high level. Correspondent Rita Foley reports on how inflation is affecting Americans.
Consumers are wrestling with stubbornly high inflation. It's draining many Americans' bank accounts, frustrating businesses, and raising alarm bells at the Federal Reserve.
While the majority of Americans see high prices as beyond President Biden's control, they continue to disapprove of his handling of the economy overall. Our recent survey finds 54% saying their finances are good. That figure was at least 62% through the global recession caused by the pandemic in 2020, and even in late 2021 and early 2022 as prices began to rise across the country. But inflation's prolonged bite has left the U.S. and the wider world facing the possibility of a downturn, and despite solid job growth, more consumers are feeling the pain. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett in Washington.
You've probably heard the story of the prodigal son before. A younger son asks for his inheritance before his father dies. He takes it, runs off to another land, parties it away, and then's got to get a job feeding pigs. The older son is the good son. stays home, works for his father. The younger son decides to go home and ask for the mercy of his father, intending to ask to be a servant. The father watches for the lost son to come home. When he sees him, he runs out to meet him and throws a party for him, welcoming him home as a son, not as a servant. The older son gets upset at the father's forgiveness of the younger son. The father tells the older son it was fitting to celebrate and be glad, for this brother was dead and is now alive. He was lost and is found. Like the father in the story, God wants to forgive the child who's lost. What's interesting is that both sons were lost. The older one just didn't realize it. Whichever son you are or have been, God loves you and wants to welcome you home.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For an estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and early detection saves lives. Take care of yourself by staying up to date on your mammograms at Artesia General Hospital. Their 3D mammography brings you the most accurate technology with your comfort and convenience in mind. Appointments average just 15 minutes. If you're a woman over age 40, you don't need a doctor's referral to schedule a mammogram. Remember, early detection saves lives. Request your appointment today at artesiageneral.com/mammogram.
Prepare for the scare. The city of Roswell presents Night of the Living Zoo, October 28th and 29th at the Spring River Zoo, with spooktastic fun for the whole family, including carnival games, a bouncing castle, carousel, and of course, trick-or-treating with lots of candy. Wear your Halloween costumes and prepare for the affair of the spooky season. Admission is only $5. Kids 3 and under are free. Get tickets and more info at roswell-connect.com. Night of the Living Zoo, October 28th and 29th at the Spring River Zoo in Roswell. See you there.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. In a courtroom in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, just moments ago.
Reviewing the aggravating factors that we unanimously found to be established beyond a reasonable doubt, we, the jury, unanimously find that the aggravating factors are sufficient to warrant a possible death sentence. Yes.
The jury recommending that Florida school shooter Nicholas Cruz be executed for the 2018 massacre that killed 17 people at Parkland's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. That recommendation came in the second day of deliberations, some 15 minutes after the jurors arrived and examined the gun that Cruz had used in the massacre. The final decision on the penalty to be imposed on Cruz, that's up to the judge. Social Security recipients will see their biggest annual cost of living raise in 40 years in 2023. Driven higher by surging inflation, next year's benefits boost to total 8.7%. The September inflation report came in hotter than expected. The Consumer Price Index soaring 8.2%, with rising prices for food, shelter, and medical care leading the way. The reading would have been even worse except for falling gas prices, but now prices at the pump are on the rise yet again. The number of Americans applying for unemployment up slightly last week.
The Labor Department says jobless claims for the week ending October 8th rose by 9,000 to 228,000. Meanwhile, the 4-week moving average ticked up by 5,000 to 211,500. Despite the increases, the figures remain historically low, even as the U.S. economy slows in the midst of decades-high inflation.
Correspondent Jeremy House, and watching Wall Street, stocks are in the red. The Dow down 102 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index off 167. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon two factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
A bomb went off earlier today near a Syrian military bus, killing at least 18 soldiers, more than 24 others wounded.
The explosion occurred this morning on a road in the countryside around Damascus. A number of people are also reported to have been wounded.
Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3. Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Indeed.
As you can see on the camera there, right below Sean's chin, it is 9:06 in the a.m.
You don't have to put. I don't have to be on camera.
He wants to, though. Says you hate Mondays.
I do.
You and Garfield.
Yep.
Do you like lasagna?
I love lasagna.
Well, you and Garfield are one and the same then.
Also not a fan of small orange dog or yellow dogs.
By the way, Crystal's here. I wouldn't recommend feeding your cat lasagna. Just a pro tip. You know, in case you're wondering, what do I feed cats? I know lasagna.
Mine love it. I mean, they lap it up.
Yeah.
Lasagna night's big night in the Smalls house.
My wife destroyed one of my cats' behavior skills. Not like physically destroyed the cat, but
she's beating it on a regular basis.
Just
confession time.
I just confessed major animal abuse. No. She done gave her people food.
Oh.
And it was like, it's now officially bad. If
Really?
we open, so tuna's, forget about it. Forget about it. Can of tuna opens in the house, she's crazy.
Right.
But now it's to a point like where Kim would get, like if we get a sandwich or, say Subway or whatever, and then you give here's a little piece of turkey or a little piece of whatever. She loved it. Now that crackhead comes after you
right
every time, hooting and hollering and getting up in your grill while you're trying to eat, and it's her fault.
See, I didn't give my cats people food. I have kids.
Yeah.
And so there's just people food around a lot, like errant French fries and stuff. And you see cats take little petite bites. I saw my cat full mouth of French fry.
Well, here's the one that made me laugh like a week or two ago. My wife had gotten I think it was just a frozen pizza or something. It wasn't like a little Totino's pizza or something. She had a piece of it sitting on a plate, and she was sitting in her chair, and she was kind of leaning forward, and she was getting a drink or something, so she kind of leaned the plate out for a little bit. That little cat tried to grab that piece of pizza and run with it. She literally snuck up, took a bite, and started to pull away, but it was a little bigger than she could escape with. And dragged it off the plate. And I was like, that's your fault.
Yeah. You made this happen.
You created the demon. You delivered the demon.
Yeah. Now, she knows I'm not as tolerant with that. So she doesn't try to steal my food. She will now get up. Like, if I'm trying to make any kind of food in the kitchen, I got to worry about crushing her, because she literally parks her whole body right there at my feet, right between there. And if I try to move an inch one way or another, it's like, stop, I'm trying to fix dinner.
I will never understand why, in my pursuit to give my cats food in the morning, they will get under my feet and make it harder for me to get to the food that I'm trying to give to them.
It's like you're slowing down the process.
Stop where you're at and give it to them right there. They don't want you to walk it to where you want it at. They want it right there.
They want it how they want it.
They want it how they want it.
Well, when they pay the rent,
Exactly.
they can have it where they want it.
Life
when
is
they
hard.
go to the grocery store and buy it
That's
themselves.
right. They mix their own wet and dry.
Life's hard, kiddies. You're going to have to wait a minute. But, it's getting officially bad in the house. Well, happy Thursday.
Yes, what we're doing.
Yes, we're going to talk animals this hour. Crystal Noble with the Humane Society here. I've got the hiccups, sorry.
Those are the worst.
I know. I get them because I drink the water before I go on, and then it swallow, and then I go talking in like a pattern or something. It just triggers.
Yes.
God, do I wish.
4 shots deep and feeling no pain.
And this is coffee.
Well, as much water as I've drinking today, I've drank like 2 of these cups. So if that was something other than water,
oh yeah, I'd be
not standing right now.
Well, we don't know what you have in it regularly, so it could always be what
I have built
we
a
don't
tolerance.
know.
Yeah, I could be just
you're the wino that doesn't get drunk.
That's right. I need it to survive. I have the withdrawals and stuff. I'm just kidding.
Get shaky.
Yeah, no, it's just water. But
on that delightful note,
Don't forget, we got football tomorrow night. District play begins for our area schools as the Roswell Coyotes and the Artesia Bulldogs will square off in Artesia tomorrow night. We will have that game on multiple channels in multiple ways. If you want to listen only to the Coyote perspective, we'll have it right here on 106.5. If you want to listen only to the Artesia perspective, 990 AM KSVP, or if you're in the Artesia area, our FM translator, 93.7 FM.
But when you can enjoy it with full video, why would you do that?
Which you can go to at ksvptv.com. We will have video. The actual video will be the same video. What will be different is the people speaking underneath said video. For the Artesia broadcast, you'll have Joby and the normal gang there. And then for the Coyotes, Art and Kelly, as they normally do, will call the Coyote game for you. So
for a real fun perspective, you get two screens, put one on one and one on the other, and it's going to force you to vomit because of all the noise distortion.
Yeah, you're going to have a ear explosion. For Goddard Rocket fans, they travel. They host Mayfield here tomorrow. Roswell travels next week to Mayfield. Goddard will host them here tomorrow night at the Wool Bowl. We will have that game for you. The radio part will be on our sister station, 106.1 FM Fiero. We will also have live streaming video at ksvptv.com and the Goddard Rockets channel for that matchup as well. So we will have all three games, video, audio, however you want it. The Roswell perspective, the Artesia perspective, we got it all for you tomorrow night.
Indubitably.
So, yeah. And then don't forget, for folks want to have some fun in Artesia this weekend, Sean's going to be, the Heirloom Acres event got kind of rained out last Saturday because it rained. And then
a lot.
A lot. And so we're gonna be back out there this Saturday, ready to go out and pumpkin patching. And doing all that fun stuff, corn maze.
Which I know corn maze and corn growers, they love rain because, well, as the song says, rain makes corn makes whiskey, and whiskey makes my baby get a little frisky. So
rain is a good thing.
It's handy where I come from.
But and then of course, Art in the Park weekend in Artesia starts tomorrow too. Sean is going to be out there tomorrow afternoon, for a few hours, and then Saturday morning for a few hours out there. Getting it, and if you like to buy one of a kind the Art in the Park is put on by the Artesia Arts Council. They're very selective on who they allow to be at it. So if you're just looking for people that sell like Scentsy and stuff, you won't find that there. These are people that do handmade, artisan, one of a kind things you can't buy.
It's like Etsy, but in real life.
Yeah, but with handmade, real. You got people making artwork, paintings to, sometimes they get people making like swords and stuff like that out there. They get everything. So it's all cool stuff. So
indeed,
check it out. And then of course, the Artesia High Band does their cakewalk on Saturday. So if you're looking for a cheap cake and did you make, go out there, support the band. Because every time I go out there, I see 50 kids running around that place with big old cakes. And all of them think they're going to eat it by themselves until they run into their parents, and then you tell them otherwise. But for the hot minute, I see these kids running with this giant chocolate shake cake, and they're like, it's all mine.
I'm going to go find a quiet corner, probably next to a bathroom, and I'm going to eat this thing like hand fruit.
And then they come running up to mom and dad, and then you see the face go from big grin to like, oh,
so I got to share this with the family?
Yeah. So if you're looking for a cake, I think you just go in there and you get one, man. They just have so many cakes. But anyway, some stuff for you to do this weekend there. Something else I was going to mention. I just completely forgot about it.
I think that was everything.
I think I covered
up pretty much everywhere we're going to be this weekend.
Yep.
And where you're not going to be.
Everywhere I'm going to be this weekend.
And then I got a meeting tonight, but that meeting better not be long because I have to watch some of the football game tonight.
Oh, you play tonight, don't you?
Well, he does.
I do, yes. I will be strapping up. As bad as they are, I can't be any worse. Yeah. I imagine Amazon and NBC, whoever carries Thursday Night Football, is having a tough time selling this turd tonight as it's the Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears, the dregs of the league, playing tonight, and they're trying to hype it up to get people to come see this turd fest.
Bear up.
Hey, if they're both bad, that means the football will be fun to watch.
It's true.
I wonder how many penalties will be called in this game.
When's the last time you watched a Pop Warner game?
Yeah. And so I know it's a masochistic thing that I have to watch these clowns, but I got to watch it. So hopefully the meetings I got tonight don't run too late so I can go home and be disappointed in my football team once again.
There has to be at least one person watching.
Yeah, so it is 9:16. Let's go ahead and take a look at your weather. Whether you like it. Actually, it's nice. You should like it right now. I don't know about this weekend, but you'll like today.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks pretty good for the next couple of days. Comfortable daytime highs, and then we have cold front that'll be arriving Saturday night and Sunday with some showers. Sunshine today, though. Our high in the upper 70s. Overnight looks clear, down to 50, and then we're in the low 80s for the afternoon high on Friday with sunshine. A few clouds on Saturday and mid-80s, and then rain on Sunday, mid-60s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, let me get to the weather. That's always important. You're going to do the weather? Pro tip, go to the weather. Currently, I wait. 55 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 59%. Winds a little blowy right now. They're out of the north at 14, gusting to 24 miles per hour. For today, sunny skies with a high of 77. North winds 5 to 10, except apparently right now where it's gusting to 24. But for tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 50 with south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, sunny skies, a high of 83. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 10. Partly cloudy Friday night. Overnight low of 55, maybe a light coat or a sweater when you head on out to watch football Friday. And then for the weekend, Saturday looking pleasant during the day anyway. Partly cloudy and 84 with northwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, we're looking at a 40% chance of showers after midnight, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 58. Sunday, I think we're going to get wet. There's an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high of 62. And then Sunday night, also an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms, overnight low of 52. Monday, more getting wet, 80% chance of showers, high of only 55. So enjoy your 80s and sun next couple days here. I think we're going to get some rain, if not Saturday night, at least by Sunday. All right, it is 19 minutes after 9. We're going to take a 4-minute break, and then on the other side, Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society will join us. Don't go away.
This is an urgent appeal to vote in this upcoming election. The governor, with the full backing of the progressive liberals, has shut down our businesses, schools, damaged our communities, and your freedoms. Elect people to political office who will combat and resist the liberals' ruinous policies. Liberty is the key to prosperity, and we must elect people who will fight for that cause. Vote for Greg Nybert for State Representative District 59, and for Republicans who will restore our rights in our state and nation.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Representative. Richard Taylor.
Find your path to a greater future at Eastern New Mexico University. With degrees offered both on campus and online, ENMU has the flexibility that you're looking for, and with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship, New Mexico residents can now start, continue, or finish their bachelor's degree tuition-free at ENMU. For more information, visit enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success, that's what we're about.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor. John runs with us. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 3 Series tractor with 0% APR for 72 months at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2316.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia or Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925. We have the coverage for you. Innovation. Education, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
There's at least one thing most New Mexicans agree on. Our schools have a long way to go. That's why Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is breathing new life into public education with initiatives that support our children from their first baby steps to promising career paths. Like expanding in-home family services, early childhood and pre-K, so thousands more kids will go off to school healthy and ready to learn. And attracting new teachers by raising salaries to the highest in the Southwest. It's already paying off by recruiting hundreds of new teachers to our classrooms this year. And she is cutting teacher paperwork and administrative burdens by 41%, so they have more time to teach our children. Thanks to the governor's new Opportunity Scholarships, any New Mexican can now attend a state college for free to earn a certificate or degree in a wide range of high-demand fields. After 2 tough years, we're finally making progress in education. We can't afford to go back to the failed policies of the past.
Paid for by New Mexicans for Michelle.
Approved by Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Bamboo plants can grow up to 36 inches in a day. So if you're told you're growing like a weed, you can say, no, I'm growing like a bamboo. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Humane Society, Crystal Noble back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good, enjoying this weather.
It is nice. I imagine good time of year to take dogs for walks and things.
It is.
The
This
weather's
is like
really
the
good.
perfect timing, except for this weekend when it's going to be raining.
Right.
We're going to get wet.
But, next day or two should be beautiful for
It
that
is.
here. So,
And it's also, where it doesn't have to be early in the morning because the asphalt's too hot.
yeah, you can do it after lunch or something, and
Yeah.
the weather's still pretty pleasant.
It
so.
is. And I like it more so because, one, we're utilizing less utilities. We're not having to run the air conditioners.
Sure, save a little money there.
And, we can open up the doors with the screen doors closed and have a fan on and just circulating fresh air through there. And it makes it just as cool. So I like this time of the year.
Yeah, it's nice, and probably just a little more. And I imagine the pets are a little more.
Dogs are happier.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah, a lot more smells.
mm-hmm.
Out there smelling from the outdoors and stuff.
So it says the wind's gusting from the north, which, I can concur because the window's open.
And that's where it's blowing.
But do you feel the difference in this gusting versus summer gust?
Yeah, this is nice.
This is nice. There's no sand blasting me, and
Yeah.
I'm not like ashy hot.
Right.
It's a cool breeze that's just keeping the temperature.
It's comfortable. Yeah, you just want to sit under a tree and hang out.
Grab a blanket, hot cup of coffee,
Yeah.
read a book.
Exactly. So, but it's also great weather for the dogs and
It
everything.
is.
So, if you love pets, love to volunteer and help out, but maybe you can't adopt because you just you live in an apartment or something along those lines. Please come volunteer. This is the time of year where they want people to come and interact with the dogs and the pets. With the weather being what it is, you could take some of the dogs for walks. Not all of them, but certain ones can come and do that stuff. And all of that helps with the psyche of the dog, but also helps acclimate them to people and things more, which is a big selling point when it's time for these dogs to find a home.
And also, like when you take them out for a walk, it enriches them to realize that there's more to life than just that kennel.
Sure.
Because dogs, unfortunately, are not like humans to where we can look to see the brighter days, where we
Yeah.
can look to see the future. Dogs live in that moment.
Yeah, what's in front of them.
what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And so, we can give them enrichment toys. We can give them the chew bones, the Nyla bones, the brain teaser toys. But it's not the same as, solid human interaction. Even if it's for 15 minutes at the park walking them so they can sniff every tree and hike on every tree or squat by every tree.
Yeah.
That's an enrichment to them to show them that, there is still something else for me.
Well, and some of the instinctual things that dogs do like you said, hiking up trees and sniffing everything.
Right.
That's instinctual. That's what they, territory and all that's just part of the DNA of a dog. And so that's all healthy for them to do that kind of stuff.
It is, and the different smells help them, to identify things, and the more interaction they get with people, the more time out of the kennel they get. When it comes time for them to be adopted, it helps them acclimate a lot quicker into their new home.
Gotcha. Yeah. So please, if you have some time, love pets and things, please call the Humane Society and ask, hey, I'd love to do this. When's a good time? When can I, and they'll be happy to, give you all that information, set up if you want to do it like an appointment or something. That's great.
And a lot of the times, like, if you call and say, hey, this is my work schedule, I have this time available, we will make sure that we have that time for you to come in where we're not scheduling other things.
Gotcha.
So we can, say, okay, let's come in, let's get this situated.
Yeah.
And if you want to do an hour, 2 hours, if you want to walk 5 dogs, 10 dogs, whatever your schedule is, that's what we go off of, what you have time available to help us.
Sure.
Because in return, we want to help you to help us.
And I'm guessing for some people, maybe this is an excuse to get out and walk and do some things yourself. And you're thinking, hey, I need to do this my own self. Maybe I'll take a dog with me and make it more fun.
Right. And there's a lot of people that we have a lot of traveling nurses and stuff here that, they're not able to bring their pets from home because they're staying in hotels.
Right.
Because they're only here for 3 to 6 months. We've had a couple of traveling nurses come down that have, on their days off, come and just hung out with us the day, playing with cats, walking dogs, brushing dogs, whatever, to help them, de-stress from the job they do. They do a stressful job.
Absolutely.
Working in the emergency room or surgical nurses, they have a stressful job.
A lot of mental anguish there.
And petting a dog or loving on an animal helps relieve that stress.
Absolutely. It gives you, love, empathy, all the things that,
Trust me, there's times you see some of us employees there at the Humane Society sitting and rocking back and forth, petting a dog. No, I'm kidding. We're not that. We're not the insane asylum, but, there's times.
There's days you feel like, maybe I should think about that.
You'll see any one of us, a dog that needs more socialization, just sitting in the kennel with the dog in our lap, loving on the dog inside the kennel, or we take him up into the front office, and we have a little Chihuahua there who's, her name is Rosie, and she's a typical Chihuahua. She doesn't like you until she loves you, but she hates you up until she realizes she loves you. After she loves you, you're the greatest thing in the world. You just have to take that time and earn her love.
Sure. Yeah.
But this little dog will play fetch for hours on end.
Cool.
You can throw a full-size tennis ball. Her mouth is not that big, but she will bring it back to you.
She'll figure out a way to get it to you.
She will bring it back to you. But you can throw tennis balls, you can throw squeaky toys, whatever she could fit in her mouth, she's going to bring it back to you.
That's cool.
And that's what she loves. Every morning when our coffee is brewing, she comes up and it's her fetch time. So we're not open to the public, and she's running back and forth in the front office, bringing whatever toy is thrown for her.
She can rustle up and
for about 10, 15 minutes while the coffee is brewing and everybody gets their coffee going and their morning started. She's being played with. She's getting her fetch time.
That's cool.
And then the rest of the day, she's like, all right, when's round 2?
So I'm thinking whoever doesn't mind get up in the morning making coffee, first thing is your thing. You're probably going to have a squeak toy with you for this one. And keep
they make the little itty bitty tennis balls for like the small dogs.
Sure.
Those are, she loves them, but she tears them up too.
Okay. So you need something a little bit more stout for her.
So, but she will play with that ball for hours on end. And then when she finally tears it up, that's it.
Yeah.
But she just loves to fetch.
Good deal. That's her fun thing. That's her.
You picture labs, you throwing a frisbee or a tennis ball running, and then you got this little Chihuahua right next to him because she just loves it.
That's her thing.
That is her thing.
Huh. Well, they always say Chihuahuas have a a little big dog mentality in them.
They do.
So maybe that's part of that.
And it's funny because, she has the full big dog mentality because when big dogs walk by her, she's like, I'm going to shred you. And the little big dogs are like, what's wrong with you?
It's like, oh, you're cute.
My 2 dogs are terrified of her.
Really?
Yes. She goes, "Arr!" They're like, oh my God, what is that?
Well,
It's a screaming rat.
That's one of those few instances that's bark tall and carry a little stick.
Yeah, my 2 are like, oh God.
Good deal. But we are in the October month right now.
We are in the October month, so there's no solid black cat or solid white cat adoptions. And ironically, it never fails. I can have
everybody wants one, right?
From August 31st to all the way back into December of the prior year, we'll have a total of like 3 or 4 black cats brought in. Come September 1st, everybody wants to release black cats.
Yeah.
I will never have more than 5 black cats in my kennel the entire year until the beginning of September.
Till this time of year here.
Yep.
So I'm guessing there's probably a half dozen cats right now
they're solid black.
That are just going to have to wait till November here before they can get adopted out.
And unfortunately, some of them do have a little bit of white, like, whiskers here and there.
Okay.
But not enough to warrant their safety from not being hurt by people who want to do foul things.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we have a sect of people that do it, so we have to protect the animals. And unfortunately, they come in adopting and, appearing to be very, warm, loving people, and then we find out they're not.
And then you have both people who will just come in and flat tell you.
Yeah.
And you would never believe, the amount of incriminating evidence people will give you and them not knowing that they're incriminating themselves.
They don't realize how disgusting they think their thing is that they're sharing with you.
Right, and so we do have the people that, will just flat out tell us, what their intentions are. And I'm like, bye.
What's your name and number? Oh, let me write that down.
Oh, but they'll tell us that, without us even asking. They will incriminate them entire selves. And we do have a do not adopt list.
Uh-huh.
And so when we get them people and we get that information, they go right on it with our explanation as to why.
Yeah.
So if anybody needs to know why, it's right there.
There it is. And they go, it's sad. But unfortunately, this has to be done this way. And to be honest, 99% of us probably would take that cat and give it a fine, loving home no matter what time of year. But because there is a small percentage of sickos out there, we have to do this. So if you have your heart set, if you're online looking at the
call us
cats,
and we'll put your name down as an interested party.
Yeah.
You can check with us throughout the month.
we'll let you come visit. We'll let you do
can come
everything.
hang out,
we just
whatever
can't
you
adopt.
want.
Yeah.
They just can't go home until after November 6th.
Yeah, just for the safety of that cat. So maybe you can use this rest of this month to do a little more off-site bonding.
Right, and that also, helps the cat bond to you before getting it home.
Yeah.
And white cats are the same thing,
Yeah.
But we
all white and all black. Yeah.
We don't have any all white cats right now, so we do have all black, but we have the majority as tabbies right now.
Okay. Which, the multicolors and all that, the tabby, brindle colored, they're fine and good to go. They're ready to take home today if you want. But all black, all white, it'll be till November 6th here. Yeah. So, but like we said, please check back, talk to the staff, tell them if you find one. At the RoswellHumane.org website, because they'll show there's a picture of every single pet that's calling the Humane Society
now there
home
are
right now.
some cats that their information is listed, but we don't have photos posted yet.
Gotcha.
Our website is currently not wanting to upload photos. Like we see it, but when we upload it, the photo itself isn't uploaded.
Yeah.
So there is a work ticket in trying to get that fixed.
Okay. So as soon as that gets rectified,
so when you see the name, and then of course, it says domestic short hair. Unfortunately, it doesn't say black, calico, or anything like that. But if you, are interested in to see what kind of cats they are, if you're not able to come down to the shelter, just call us and we can tell you.
Sure. Absolutely. But as soon as that gets fixed,
as soon as the ticket goes through.
Yeah. But if you do go up there and then you see not available next to the cat, the picture of the cat, the dog, that just means they're in quarantine, either to make weight, or they're waiting on vaccines, or they're new to the shelter, and we don't want to put them in with the rest of the animals until we know that they're not going to get everybody sick.
Or unfortunately, this time of the year with the black cats.
Yeah. Or, like you said, with the black cats we're dealing with. So that's the reason. It doesn't mean they're adopted. If a pet's adopted, they're not on the site no more. They're with their
once that contract is signed, they are pulled off the website.
Yeah. So every pet that's on there is looking for a home, maybe just not able to go right today. So if you do scroll through there and you see one, you're like, oh, I want that one, but it's not available yet. Call, inquire, talk, see if you can visit,
email,
all that stuff. And trust me, we've said it enough times. Please do that. Don't call every 5 minutes checking and everything on them, but we
might not answer the phone after that.
but they do like when there's a family that's kind of always checking in, calling every day saying, hey, how's Fluffy doing? Because that shows the Humane Society, hey, these people can't wait to bring this animal as part of their family, because that's what they want. It's, there's rules for adopting and stuff, not to be jerks, but to make sure that every single animal that leaves that shelter is going to a home that's loving, safe, secure, and going to be their hopefully forever home. After this point. So that's why the rules are in place. That's why. But when you come and just, I love this cat, I can't wait to take her home or take him home, whatever it is, that shows, all right, we got a family here that's ready to provide a good life for this animal.
We've had numerous families, call, email, prior to the animal coming out of quarantine, and then us saying, okay, as long as everything stays good, the animal's coming out this day. They call that morning, everything good, yes. So they schedule a time to come down, they visit, and they end up staying there like 3 hours. And then they're like, okay, this is the cat or this is the dog.
Yeah.
It just helps us to weed out some of the people that, don't have the greatest intentions. You know, we want to adopt a family member. We don't want to adopt a yard ornament or a figurine sitting on your couch.
These are living things we're trying to provide a warm, loving environment for.
We want to make sure that they go to a home, to a family, to be involved.
Yeah. And that's just it. That's the end game here. So please, when you come and if you get told restrictions and things, it's not to deny you. It's to make sure that the best possible scenario is what's going to happen for every one of these pets. So that's why it's for that, not to attack you, but to provide the best for the customers that are the Humane Society, the pets that are looking for homes.
Their well-being is more of our concern.
Yes.
And we don't want to offend anybody or upset anybody, but the reason for the rules and regulations, like Mike said, is because we want to provide the best that we can for these animals once they leave us. We want to make sure that they're going to continue getting, the best, if not better care than what we're able to provide them.
Unfortunately, in humanity there, for every loving family out there, there's another person that doesn't share the same passion for animals that you do, and they will treat them in different ways and things that some people, quite frankly, will find appalling. And so that's the scrutiny. That's the reason why we don't want to accidentally give a pet up to someone who's just going to abuse it and not take care of it. So
right, and we have a lot of people that just don't understand. And ironically, if you came and you volunteered one day at the shelter and you saw the amount of people that we deal with, the types of people we deal with, and the questions and answers that we get from people, it would help you understand.
Sure.
A lot of people don't understand because they're not involved in that aspect.
Sure.
But once you start getting around it and seeing it more and more, there's a lot of things that people would not even believe happen in this town when it pertains to animals.
Yeah, it's just sad. So
it is.
To avoid all that, this is to keep everything on the up and up. So please, if you have troubles adopting and things, please, understand it's not anything personal. It's just priority one is the safety of these animals, and that's anything that risks that they're not willing to let happen. So that's why the rules are in place. That's why the policies are in place, and it protects you too, because at the same time, we don't want you to adopt a pet from there and then you get it home and the thing's about to die because It's not healthy. It's not taken care of. It just got brought in and said, all right, we'll get it. The Humane Society, every one of these pets, if they come in sick, they're going to leave healthy. That's how they don't just. It's not animal storage until someone else can deal with a problem. It's these are pets' lives that they're responsible for, and before they give that responsibility up, they're going to make darn sure that they're giving it up to someone worthy of that responsibility.
Yes.
So sorry, I know we got soapboxy on that one, but
okay.
This month more so than ever. You kind of need to do that because some people are like, well, I'm gonna come on, let me adopt the black cat. I get it. You probably aren't going to do anything creepy. But what happens if you do, and then you duped us?
Or what happens if the cat gets out of the house by accident,
and someone else does,
and
something.
somebody else does it?
Yeah, unfortunately, If you're one of those people or families that have cats that you keep outside around the house and
Please bring your black cats inside.
Bring your black and all white cats, all black and all white cats indoors, because unfortunately, sycophants are at night scoping neighborhoods that have things like this, looking for, because they can't adopt from the Humane Society. I'm sure, I don't know about animal control, what kind of rules they have in place.
I'm not sure either.
But I imagine they're a little leery of that stuff too. So it's, and certainly I think any rescue in town is very aware of what these people do. So they're on the guard for that too. So the only way they can really find them is steal them out of people's yards or find stray ones in alleys and what have you.
Yep.
And, we understand we want to control the cat population, especially our strays and feral cats. That ain't the way to do it.
No, it's
all right,
not.
Let's let our Satanistic friends come in and take care of it. No, we're not going to do that.
No.
But let's talk thrift store.
Yes.
How I'm sure they're busy as ever. It's a good time of year.
They are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things about to happen real quick for the thrift store. So today only, the entire back room minus the Halloween stuff is all half off.
Nice.
So that includes dishes, pots and pans, furniture.
Okay.
They have flat screen TVs. They have 2 recliners. They have a table.
Wow.
That's all included in the half off. They've got a lot of nice shoes for men's, kids, and women's.
Okay.
They're putting out winter boots, like brand new winter boots that were bought, decided they didn't like the design,
Sure.
threw them in the box, donated them.
Nice. And boots
This
are
coming
expensive.
Saturday, which is, I think, the 15th or 16th.
That sounds right. The 15th. Yeah.
All Halloween starts the half off.
Okay. So beginning this Saturday,
So
50%
costumes are
off.
already only $2 unless they're marked differently.
So there'll be $1?
There'll be $1.
Well, I'm going to say this right now. If you're looking for something specific, don't wait till Saturday. Pony up the extra $1 and go get it now.
Right?
That way you have it.
Versus the $50 at the store.
And to be honest, this is awesome. You guys have sales and stuff because it really does help move product and things. But we got to remember, folks, that every single dollar that is generated and raised through that is going back to these pets. So it's awesome. You guys have sales, and I know families can really benefit from that, and please do. But it's okay to pay full price for some stuff at there because you're actually helping.
Full price is still a discount.
It is. So if you're like saying, "Oh, don't worry about my $1. Here's the full price for it," me personally, would be very appreciative of that. But if you can't afford it, please, by all means, pay the prices, get this thing, get the discounts, take advantage of it. But if you do happen to be okay with it, and are like, because at the end of the day, you, as much as you're feeling a need for yourself, you're doing so much good for these animals.
You just
in the
help
community.
that animal.
So
whatever.
Yeah. So if you can pay the full $5 or whatever it's going to cost for this deeply discounted thing, pony that up. If you can afford it. If you can't, don't worry about it. But if you're able, and you have the kindness to do so, please, pay more for these things.
And then, so everybody that's been waiting for the book room. So I know it's been closed down since slightly before March for the remodeling, and then a little bit took time because materials we could not get.
Sure.
So next Saturday, the 22nd, we're going to do the grand reopening of the book room, and it is labeled Joan's Book Room in memory of Joan, who passed away this year. She is the lady who used to go in and sort the books and made it a little library.
She was kind of the book guru.
She was
there.
the book guru.
Okay.
So we've got everything set up. There's going to be a sign above the door that says Joan's Book Room. It's done all in memory of her.
How nice.
And it is excuse me, just like a library. You got your fiction, your nonfiction, your drama, your romance.
So it's pretty easy to find quickly if you're looking for something.
And alphabetized.
Nice.
And that all goes to Abby Hess, who has
Didn't know you had to be a librarian skills to run a thrift
who has
stop,
been giving relentless hours getting this ready. Camille and her husband and the staff at the thrift store for painting and getting everything mounted. Camille's husband built the shelves for us.
That's
so
awesome.
they've all put in a lot of hard work and a lot of effort to make this book room.
Oh, by the way, they do this because out of the kindness of their heart, by the way. They're not getting paid to do this stuff. They're just volunteering their time. They're passionate about the project and what they do there. So
the only thing...
Thank you.
We did have to purchase the supplies, but some places did donate some of the
Good,
stuff.
that's awesome.
But if anybody has any gently used or new adult fiction or nonfiction books.
Okay.
That is something that, we could use at the book room to help get it fully stocked up.
Good deal.
Of course, any other books, as long as they're in good condition and not, the spine's not tore up or anything, we can sell them.
Good
so
deal.
the book room, we are back and able to start taking in books again.
Nice. Well, good. If you got some books that you, and I even say this, maybe they're books you bought earlier and they're still in great shape. You've read them all. Donate them back, and someone else can enjoy.
We have a ton of people that do that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, they'll come in with a bag of books, and I'm like, hi. And then I see them leaving with another bag of books, and I'm like...
I love that.
It's kind of like... It reminds me of Happy Jacks that used to be on East 2nd Street. You'd go in and swap your books.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
My cousin used to drive me up the wall. Let's go to Happy Jacks. I don't want to go to Happy Jacks. But, she would go and take 12 books in and then come back with 12 books.
That's great. I love that. Because it helps the company.
It does help,
Yeah.
You purchased once and then you gave back and then you repurchase again.
Yeah.
And so instead of the books being marked inside like they used to be, there is a price sign that's going to be inside the book room.
Okay.
And it's going to say hardbacks, paperbacks, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
And it's going to have the prices there, so they're not going to be marked inside the corner of the books anymore.
Gotcha. It's basically based on the type of book as far as not what's inside, but the quality of how it's made. Hardback, trade paperback. There's different terms for all of this.
Right.
And so based on the category of the actual book is based on the pricing there. So all the hardbacks will be whatever it is, $5 or $2 or whatever. The paperbacks are 50 cents or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
So when you walk in the book room door, the price is going to be on the left-hand side on the wall.
Okay.
Cheap. Everything's cheap, unfortunately.
Sure.
We're the cheapest thrift store in town.
Well, especially hardback books. If you like to read in those, and let's face it, you buy a new hardback book,
$29, $30.
yeah, and that's usually discount. Like if you catch it before like a new release and something, you could easily pay 30, 40, sometimes 50. And like coffee table books, good Lord, you $100 easy on those.
Yep. And they do have some table books.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what's a table book? And I had to be shown. I was like, oh, so my big old Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, not best for going to the bathroom to read with, but good for conversation starters in your living room when you got company and things. So
right.
Yeah, these are books like when they see majestic waterfalls and you start carrying this under your arm into the bathroom, people are going to look at you funny. Although I kind of like the cut of your jib, and I'll be impressed, but others might look at you a little funny.
I'll be like, all right. Do you?
That's a person that's bold right there with a big old coffee table book under the. I'll see you in about 15.
We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
That's right. But yes, please come support. And like I said, if you've got books that you have that are great books that just they're taking up space, or you've read them and don't need them, and everyone that's going to read them's read them, donate them. And
yes, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, and then like you said, please, pick up some ones and then donate them back, or do whatever.
And then another thing, so the thrift store, they've changed a little bit around. So it used to be that they were there on Mondays, like sorting through week donations from Sunday and cleaning the store and stuff. So they moved that to Tuesdays.
Okay.
So if you have any donations, please don't drop them off on Sundays or Mondays.
Okay.
Just because we're still having a hard time with people stealing the donations left outside the door.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it happens every time.
We're at the kennels cleaning on Sundays and Mondays, and we do bring the donations in for them. But unfortunately, after we leave, there's nobody there.
Gotcha.
And we have it on surveillance cameras. The police have been notified. So we are basically under 24-hour surveillance for the donation area for the thrift store. The police are on watch and standby to keep that area in higher patrol.
Gotcha.
But they're climbing inside the bin and having somebody on the outside, and they're just hoofing everything out, all on camera, and they don't care.
Well, and that's just it. I think what you got going on is you probably have some locals that scout it, just like the cops are scouting. They're scouting it too, and when they see quote unquote good donations being made, then they're like, all right, there's something
they're
good.
bold enough to where they park
at
the back of the parking lot, watch people donate, and before that person's finished driving off, they're already over there sorting through it.
Yeah, those people case it. They probably have someone casing it 24/7.
So we do ask, if you have any donations, Tuesdays through Saturdays, if you need us to pick them up, call us. We will pick them up. They have the truck to go out to get the donations. If you want to schedule a time, let's say on a Monday, because you can't do it during the week, call, schedule it, and then somebody from the kennel will go and help you unload.
Okay, cool.
But we ask, don't leave it outside just because we're having a hard time with keeping people from stealing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
unfortunately, we are in a hard economy with the recession going on. And if you do find yourself homeless or in need of clothing, go inside during the week. Talk to Camille. Explain your situation.
Oh, yeah. They love to help.
She will gladly help you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're in need, talk to them. Don't steal from them. Help them, and they'll be happy to. And if you know what? And here's the cool thing, because I know the thrift stores all kind of have a little understanding here. If the clothing or whatever that they don't have to help you with is in the thrift store at the Humane Society, they can call over to, say, the Refuge or to the Salvation Army or Goodwill or one of the others and say, hey, I've got someone that needs some help. Do you guys have anything to help them with? And a lot of times they say, yeah, we got some things, send them over and we can help them, or at least tell you, no, we don't, but I know so-and-so has something, call them. And there is that network that goes on people that are in need.
We do want to help those in need, and we do understand times are hard.
Mm-hmm.
We get that really well.
Absolutely.
But we want to know, or want you to know, that we will help you. Just talk to us.
Yeah.
Don't steal it, please.
Yeah.
There's no shame in coming in and saying, hey, I need help. I'm under times.
Yeah.
Because we've all been there and we all understand.
Yeah. But you're stealing from people that are in just as dire straits as you are. You know what I mean? These are people that, okay, the pets and things, but let's face it, without the Humane Society, all these pets would probably not have a chance at finding good homes and things like that. Let's face it, city facilities can't just keep up with all of that. We need places like the Humane Society and these other great rescue facilities and groups to fill the void. And we lose one, it's huge. And the Humane Society is obviously the biggest of the bunch when it comes to your nonprofit animal services in our community here. And when you keep stealing from it and things, you prevent it from happening. And unfortunately, if enough people go stealing stuff without it there won't be enough money to keep the doors open. It's just, what funding they get through other means will help some. But when it comes to the actual running, the day-to-day, all that stuff, the thrift store is the reason why they can do all that. So please, don't. And if you know, I get it. If you do need help, come in and talk to them. Don't try to hop the fence and steal stuff. And eventually you're going to get caught. Someday you will get caught.
We've had several people caught red-handed. The police have, done what they said they were in legal rights to do.
Sure.
But we will prosecute for stealing.
Yeah.
We want people to know that it's okay to ask us for help.
Yeah.
Don't take from it, please.
Yeah. You stop becoming a victim when you start taking from victims.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the way I think humanity kind of looks at you. So please don't do that. So, anything else?
I think we're good. I think we're covered.
Excellent. Please come check out the Humane. Check back early and often. Visiting. Go to roswellhumane.org. That is the official website for the Humane Society. They've got, like I said earlier, all of the animals available for adoption are there. If you'd like to be more involved, like becoming a member, you can find out ways to do that through there. Pretty much any living thing can be a member of the Humane Society. Your kids, your dogs, your cats. And I say
goldfish.
Living. Yeah, goldfish. I imagine if you bring your fern, they'll let you make that a member too.
I will. I'll make that exception. I'll slide it.
But you got to bring the fur in. I'm
You
just
do.
kidding.
I want to see it.
I want to see them so I can put a membership pin on.
I do. I want to see it.
But again, RoswellHumane.org, you'll find all of that there.
Yes.
Too. And then don't forget, come on by the thrift store and the shelter are right next to each other on East McGaffey, both right next to Animal Control.
Yes.
So if you do go into the shelter and there's just a pet that, for whatever reason doesn't speak to you or connect with you, walk right next door to Animal Control and look at those pets too, because regardless of what building you adopt out of, you're rescuing pets here in New Mexico by doing that. So, and there's other ones too, but either way, you're rescuing pets here in Roswell.
Saving a life is saving a life, regardless if it's from our shelter or Animal Control's.
Yep, because what'll happen is the moment there's free cages in the Animal Humane Society, they'll fill those with some of the short-term animals in the animal control facility. So, good deal. Well, I better play some commercials before we go, or they get mad at me. So, as always, appreciate it. And we'll see you here in a few weeks. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. It is 9:56. Quick break before we go.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. A hotter than expected inflation report. The September Consumer Price Index sent Wall Street into a tailspin. The benchmark sharply lower this morning.
The government says consumer prices rose 8.2% in September compared with a year earlier. The cost of housing and other necessities are intensifying pressure on households, wiping out pay gains that many have received. The high inflation rate also ensures that the Federal Reserve will keep raising interest rates aggressively.
Correspondent Jeremy House says month over month prices increased 0.4% from August to September, whereas economists had been looking for a lesser 0.3% increase. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits up slightly last week. Jobless claims for the week ending October 8th rose by 9,000 to 228,000. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price, and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For an estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
It's October, and that means it's time to paint Roswell Honda pink. We partnered up with the Chaves County Cancer Fund to help raise much-needed money, and we are gearing up for another amazing year. Roswell Honda is giving away some great prizes, including 3 Michael Kors designer purses, pretty in pink, of course. Stop by for a free entry or 3 entries with a qualified test drive. And that's not all. With new inventory arriving daily and over 100 quality pre-owned vehicles on the lot, there's never been a better time to get behind the wheel. Here's Joe Salzar to tell you all about it.
Don't let vehicle pricing rumors fool you. With Roswell Honda's market-based program tool, we are making it easier than ever to get the best deal in southeastern New Mexico. And with every vehicle sold in the month of October, we will donate $50 to the Chaves County Cancer Fund.
Join us Saturday, October 29th from 10 to 1 p.m. We will have a special performance by the Charlie's Angels. Bring cash to support the cause and purchase goods from our many vendors. Help us make it happen for the Chaves County Cancer Fund, and let's paint Roswell Honda pink.
I'm Michelle Garcia Holmes, and I'm running for United States Congress. As a former policewoman, I put on my Kevlar vest, uniform, gun belt, grabbed my 12-gauge shotgun, jumped into my police car, and hit the city streets to keep you safe. I want to do the same for you in Washington. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th because our families deserve safe cities, a secure border, and lower gas prices.
Donate today at GarciaHolmesForCongress.com. Paid for by Michelle Garcia Holmes for Congress.
Roswell Skin Center and Dr. Cometti are here to provide what you need for cosmetic dermatology, offering facials, peels, Botox, filler, and laser. Dr. Cometti at Roswell Skin Center invites you to become a VIP member. Receive $50 off your first treatment. Sign up for rewards at roswellskin.com.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
High School. Judge Elizabeth Shearer will make the final decision. Millions of Social Security recipients getting a 8.7% boost in their benefits in 2023. The average recipient will receive more than $140 a month extra beginning in January. President Biden reacting to the latest inflation numbers.
Following the release of September consumer prices, the president admitted that prices are still too high. In a White House statement, he said Americans are squeezed by the cost of living. He said the month-to-month inflation numbers are improving slightly.